thank you for bringing us into your home. Of course, do yourselves a favor. Call your family, call your friends, kit and kin. Let them know we're here, live on air and in living color. Got a lot we're going to share with you. I got a lot we're going to get into before we're through. So let me start the show off quickly, as I always do, by first and foremost reminding you we're now streaming live on RadioOnFire Facebook page, of course, all one word. RadioOnFire YouTube page, all one word. And Darren Muhammad's State of the City, all one word. So get in where you fit in where you get in. If you need to send me that Facebook request, send me that Facebook request to be my Facebook guest at Darren, D-A-R-E-N, Muhammad, M-U-H-A. M-M-A-D, spell it right, get it right. You'll have us locked in your site. And, of course, with that, we start the show off as we always do each and every Wednesday that we're honored to be on these airwaves by dedicating the show to my brother and friend, Brother Eric Easton, to all of you that made it through the week in this city, in this state, in this country, and on the planet, and to those that continue to use this type of venue, these types of radio shows to reach the people and to teach the people at a time we see and we hear universal deceit like never before, then these are not radio shows, but radio inflow and an info for the people to be able to get to see beyond the misinformation and disinformation and to be able to make proper decisions about what is happening politically, what's happening socially, economically, educational, judicially, sometimes just morally, in terms of having that moral compass, right? So I thank all of you that tuned in. Got to thank, of course, the owners of RadioOnFire, Brother Diamond Williams. Had a chance to see him, of course, his beautiful mother and father that I've known for years through the Black Think Tank that they came in and were a part of. And we were meeting every Sunday at Everyone's Place Bookstore. Shout out to Baba Nati. Shout out to all the family at Everyone's Place Bookstore. One of the last great black bookstores, not just in Baltimore City, not just in the state of Maryland, not just in this region, but in the country. So shout out to Baba Nati. Make sure you find yourself stopping by to support Everyone's Place right there at 1356 West North Avenue. And with that, got to thank Brother Diamond Williams. Got to thank his mother, his father. Got to thank, of course, his capable assistant, Sister Nikki, for just extending the invitation now for upwards to 3 to 4 months. We've been on these airwaves, coming longer, coming stronger, and, of course, continuing to give you that truth with the proof up in the booth. And if necessary, as I always say, we'll take it to the roof, man. We'll teach wherever we got to teach to get the information out to our people. And we're looking to add another day. So we do need your support. I'll say at the top of the show, we have Cash App. Our Cash App is $SOTC Muhammad. $SOTC Muhammad, all one word. So please feel free to send in not your donations, but send in your donations. Our PayPal is Darren Muhammad, D-A-R-E-N Muhammad, M-U-H-A-M-M-A-D. If you want to directly support RadioOnFire, their Cash App is $RadioOnFire, all one word, $RadioOnFire. So with that, want to get into the show. I got this brother joining me, of course, in studio. I want to extend the invitation to him. I met this brother through brother who he works with, a hard-working brother, a diligent working brother, a brother with a vision, a brother out of D.C., but I met him through the State of the City. The brother came out last year to our 10th year anniversary at Terra Cafe. I met him in person through Sister Natalie Muhammad, a longtime member of the Nation of Islam, a sister who's always about business, always studious in terms of her craft, a sister who had accumulated a lot of real estate in Baltimore City, strong, beautiful black woman, intelligent black woman. And she introduced me to Brother Charles, who was a brother that listened to the show and wanted to support me. And he came out to our 10th anniversary dinner, and we remained friends and associates since then. And the brother is always just a telephone call away. We always talking, meeting, greeting about, again, business and, of course, economics, black economics in particular, right? And this brother has shown how he can kind of break down these superficial barriers that some have kind of constructed between Baltimore and Washington, D.C. and Prince George's County. And he understood that, as Dr. Randy Short said, who was here with us last week. Got to thank him. Got to thank Sister Reba Hawkins, who joined me on the show last week, before I go any further. But as Dr. Randy Short has always said, and I've said, with the opportunity zones that have come online now through the federal legislation that was signed by President Trump, that we've said that Baltimore City has an opportunity to be a an example to the rest of the nation in terms of how we can have some real economic development and how blacks can benefit. Because we've had all these other zones and federal programs that's come into Baltimore City, but very few of our people knew about it on a grassroots level. You had the black classes that knew about it, but the black masses didn't know about it. And no one took the opportunity to teach them how to get in on the bottom level, to get in on, of course, all of the plans, get in on on the lower level, and how to use it to bring about transforming our communities. And everybody else that came in and got rich off of the empowerment zones, the enterprise zones, and then the promise zones. But most of the black media, which had that responsibility to teach our people, failed to teach our people. But some of them enriched themselves without looking out for the masses of our people. So what we've done, we got in front of it this time around, because you had a little brother and Brother Muhammad that knew about the opportunity zones and went forward in sharing the information. It really exposed others and their hands how they wasn't willing to talk about the opportunity zones to teach our people. And this is why I keep saying we need a war room, because politics is war, economics is war, it's warfare. And so we have to have those that can be good stewards for our people, good promise brokers, power brokers to our people, to get the information and bring it back to our people. And this brother that's seated next to me has done just that, working with Brother Charles Martin. So I got to thank him, thank Sister Natalie, and then thank this brother. And they've set up and established, again, the Better Baltimore, LLC, and they're doing just that. But this brother went a step further when they heard my interview with the family of the great Baltimore icon, the great Baltimore and national treasure, Cab Calloway. They reached out to Peter Brooks, the grandson of Cab Calloway. They reached out to Cam A. Murphy, one of the relatives of Cab Calloway, to say what could they do, right? Not just to save the home, but to transform that home and then to put it on a national historic registry. So their intentions were sincere. Their intentions were clear. But you have others that are part of organizations which we're going to talk about tonight. And if you've been listening to Brother Muhammad, I've already pulled the covers off of some of these individuals and named their names, because they really don't love our people. They will use that, talk about family and talk about blackness, but they're about trying to get paid for themselves while at the same time uprooting our great history and legacy in this city. So I want to thank and introduce for the first time on the State of the City here at Radio on Fire, this brother, Brother Brian Hawkins, and welcome him to the show and just thank him for taking time out of his busy schedule and joining us tonight here in studio at State of the City, Radio on Fire. So just thank you, my brother. How are you?
Thank you, Darren.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it.
Yes, sir. Brother is the best title, Brother Darren. So thank you,
Brother
my brother.
Darren.
So before we get started, man, let's give you contact information where you can be reached for those that want to reach out to you. And then through you, they will be able to reach out and reach Brother Charles Martin.
Well, the company is Better Baltimore.
Yes, sir.
Better Baltimore, LLC. We are a division of a DC company, which is DC House Buyer.
Yes, sir.
But for the purposes here in Baltimore, we thought it would be applicable to let everyone know that we are from here,
Yes,
and
sir.
we're about here.
Right.
So we changed this division to
Right.
Better Baltimore.
Yes, sir. Right.
Now, you can reach us. I'll give you a personal number. Anyone can call it anytime they want. I have not a problem with anyone reaching me anytime of the day or night. That number is 443-400-6690. I will personally answer anyone's call that has any questions at all for me.
Yes, sir. So Better Baltimore. And of course, for those who may not know, you Baltimore born and Baltimore raised. Is that correct?
That's absolutely
so
correct.
You're not new to this. You true to this.
I'm absolutely true to it. And I was actually born on Madison Avenue.
Yes, sir.
In the 50s, 2525, when I remember that neighborhood was pristine.
And I was born on Robert Street. So we was
Right around the
neighbors. We was neighbors later on in life, you know?
I'm a little older than
Yes,
you, but
sir.
absolutely right.
All right. Yes, sir. Well, please continue, my brother.
So the situation was, when we heard about what was going on, we sat down and we had open projects in the immediate area.
Yes, sir.
We are working in Druid Heights and the surrounding area. We have several projects on McCullough Street.
Yes, sir. I grew up on McCullough Street.
I've got a house.
1735.
I've got.
Used to go to Herb's all the time, right there at the corner store.
My old man was Nathan Leon's.
Yes, sir. Nathan Leon.
Nathan Leon's.
Right there on North and Linden,
North and
right?
Linden.
Yes, sir. That's in the book, Jewish Baltimore.
North and Linden.
Yes,
So
sir.
when we found that the Calloway family was having a problem with the folks at the Druid Heights Community Development Corporation,
Yes,
we stepped up because we were in the middle of working on buying that block.
Yes.
And we just happened to find that Cab's house was in the block that we had already been looking at.
Right.
The city got involved. It was an unsolicited bid, and we were challenged. Do you have the money for the project?
Right. And you had the money. You came through with the money.
I posted over $2 million.
Say that again.
$2 million.
$2 million for that property that sits in that's the 2200 block.
2200 block. We offered to buy the entire block.
Yes, sir.
Our plan was to develop the block, but once we found Cab's house,
Right.
we had to shift gears a little bit, and
Sure.
then we decided we would work with the Calloway family.
Yes.
And we thought that home should be something spectacular because
Absolutely.
Cab was spectacular.
National Historic Registry.
So
Right. They would do it with most of the white historians, the white heroes, right?
They would
and
do that.
heroes, they keep their home.
They
There
would
be
do
no
that.
talk about
But
tearing it down,
They-
you know?
Tearing it down was crazy.
Yes, sir.
So when we decided we didn't want it torn down in the first place because we were
Right.
going to buy it,
Because the structure's fine.
The
right.
facade is
The facade
fine.
is fine.
The structure
It's gotta go
itself-
inside, right?
inside's got a tree growing in it.
Yes,
but
sir.
That's
Yeah.
because it's been neglected
That's
for 50
correct.
years
Absolutely.
since. It's been neglected since the riots of '68. Nobody's
Right.
done a thing with any of those properties. So for Cab, we decided, okay, we're going to build a property,
Mm-hmm.
and essentially those houses are 2,500 to 3,500 square feet. The corners tend to be larger than the middle of the block.
That's right. That's right.
So how do we make it palatable, and what do we offer?
Right.
From the floor up, we were building new homes, ductwork, floors. The basements of all the homes are going to be converted into home theaters.
Right. Yes, sir.
The
Now,
first-
I had a chance to see one of them.
Saw that.
Yes, sir.
The first floor was going to be living space. As you walk into the home, you walk into hardwood floors, granite, new appliances, stainless steel, your choice of 3 different packages on the appliances.
Yes, sir.
Electric fireplaces. The back side of the property is Stoddard Street, and what we were going to do with that was we were going to offer driveways, garages. The top of the garages would be decks with sliding glass doors that open up for the inside, the interior of the homes.
Come on, brother.
Okay?
I see the vision.
You see, the second floor of the home would be living space for people with small children or, kids, small families.
That's right.
A 30-year-old making, some decent money can move there and have
That's right.
a decent house, and the value of the house would only increase in value.
That's right.
So it's 4 bedrooms on the second level, and the third floor would be a master suite.
Mm-hmm.
Master suite with a private setting room. It's going to have his and hers bathrooms. While actually you have an option of having double vanity, or you can make a gourmet or a custom bath, whatever your choice is. Some folks want double vanity, some folks want other things.
Yes, sir.
So when we talked about the cost factor,
Right.
we thought $100 a square foot was fair and equitable, considering that the folks at the Druid Heights Community Development Corporation have several projects in the area.
Right.
Baker's View is their project,
Yeah.
sold for approximately $100 a square foot. We came in, we didn't want to make it.
Now, and let's pause for a second. For those that may not know about Bakersville, there was an article in the City Paper. City Paper has since then been bought by the Sun Paper. They wrote about when Sheila Dixon, this is why I've always been so hard on Sheila Dixon, because I always say the sign of a good mayor is Mayor Marion Barry, who gave us the blueprint or black print in Washington, D.C. Where the black millionaires that you making? You know what I mean? They making white and brown, they making white and Asian millionaires, but where the black millionaires, right?
Oh.
So now, there was an article in the City Paper that said that when Sheila Dixon was the city council president, and I was on Radio 1 at the time when the article was printed, and I had it and I read it on the air. They said that there was a board of estimates meeting that lasted less than 5 minutes. That's where the contracts and permits and everything are voted on, right?
Correct.
They said that Sheila Dixon was the city council president, Martin O'Malley was the mayor, I think Ralph Tyler was the city solicitor, and then the head of DPW, and then the treasurer at that time was still Joan Pratt.
Controller.
Controller, treasurer, but controller is the title in Baltimore. They had a meeting less than 5 minutes. They voted on this little known BDC. Then the head of that BDC, or the head that was heading up that LLC, was none other than Jackie Cornish, who was a good friend of Sheila Dixon, who was working in housing at the time and had been the head of the Druid Heights Development Corporation. They voted to give them 280 homes at $1 a piece, which later became Bakerville.
That's correct.
So I just wanted to put that out there. But please, so when the city said they don't have dollar homes, You're a damn liar. I know you got dollar homes. It just depends on who you're voting to give a dollar home to. If somebody's politically connected like Jackie Cornish, fronting for the fat ass Bank of America, is running ads all on these Radio 1 stations right now, telling you take out a Bank of America account, then y'all know what I'm saying is absolutely true. City got plenty of dollar homes. Just depends on who they want to give a dollar home to. But please continue, my brother.
Well, they didn't give a dollar home to us, and we made
Right.
fair market value. We thought we tried to make it attractive to them. We made an offer, and none of the houses that we offered to buy from them were. We didn't post anything less than $3,000. That they're giving them away for $1.
Yes, sir.
We're offering $3,000. We think there's value there.
Right.
The other thing that we found was deception. You know, I hate to use inflammatory words.
That ain't inflammatory, it is.
It was-
in this city, that's what they do.
It was deceptive. I had the occasion to be with Jack Young and Anthony Presley, where Jack says
Who's Presley?
Presley's
Current head, which
of
really
the
is
Druid
the
Heights
front for Jackie Cornish because she's still running things over
she
there.
wags him around like a dog.
Right, yeah.
He kowtows to her, and he quite frankly told us we don't have the money to complete this project.
Right.
We need about $500,000, and the city's going to have to buy.
They don't even have the money, and they're asking taxpayers to put up $500,000 to give to them.
Well, there's
you and your partner Charles. Y'all had how much money to put up?
$2 million.
$2 million, right?
That's
to do this work.
That's $2 million to complete the project.
Yes.
That's not the money to buy the
Right.
houses.
Right.
We offered a separate amount of money to buy the house.
Right.
And then we were going to show them. We were asked by Michael Huber to show that we have the wherefore. He says, I need to see that you have the wherefore.
Right.
Show me some money.
Right.
Okay, how much do you need? I need to see $2 million. Okay, we showed him.
Right.
$2 million. But we still didn't get a meeting
Right.
to even talk about the merits of the project.
Yes, sir.
So when you send your kids home from school because it's too hot and they don't have air conditioning,
Right.
or you send them home because it's too cold, they don't
Right.
have heat.
no heat in school.
Why am I a citizen in Baltimore giving you $500,000 for a park?
Right. That's right.
You have a park. You have 4 parks.
Plenty of parks up in that Druid.
And you have Druid Hill Park.
You got the biggest one, Druid Hill Park.
Second largest
And they
park
got-
in the country.
And don't need no more of them little squares because that's where they going to shoot up and everything.
That's exactly
all up
right.
around there, right
That's-
on Pennsylvania Avenue. They got that little square. They
that's
selling
it.
more drugs across the street
Getting high.
in the square than they selling over at the 1515 clinic.
Getting high. So when you asked us to sit back and watch the city, I'm a citizen. I pay taxes.
Yes, sir.
You want us to pay $500,000 to demolish an iconic home.
Great.
And then you want us to deal with the X factor
Come on.
in building your park and maintaining your park perpetually.
Absolutely.
And you have an unsolicited bid from a private developer that has no public money.
No public money.
Not a dime of our money is public. No
That's right,
grants,
that's right.
none of that. It's all private money.
Right.
So we're going to offer the city a fair amount of money.
Right.
And then we're going to build these homes, and we're going to sell them at approximately $100 a square foot, which is in vogue with what the Druid Heights Community Development does
Right.
at Bakersfield. So we're not coming in to gentrify the area.
That's right.
We're coming
You're
in to do
hiring.
the same thing that they're doing.
That's right.
We're going to hire approximately 100 people. We're going to offer a daycare center. That's out of our pocket. And we're going to maintain an iconic home
Come on.
and make it a visitor center,
That's right.
a Airbnb, if you will, for the visiting folks that come in to do concerts here in town. They want to stay in someplace other than a hotel. Why don't you
Absolutely.
stay in Cab Calloway's house?
That's right.
Now, you stay in Cab Calloway's house, this is what you get for it.
That's right.
You get, the plan was for a recording studio, so you
Right.
can tweak your music and do your recordings. The plan also included, we're going to have to feed you if you're going to stay with us, so we're going to have visiting chefs that come in. You tell us what your choice is.
Right.
You want to be a vegan? Fine. We'll go get somebody to bring you vegan cuisine.
Come on, brother.
If you want to be Cajun, we'll bring in a Cajun guy. If you want seafood, we'll get a guy to do that.
That's right.
There are a number of guys around town that will support us because it's Cab's house.
Right.
I don't understand. The other thing is, one of the most important things was, we decided that anybody staying in that house, any musician that stayed in that home, had a requirement to mentor kids that wanted to foster or move forward in the music
Music
business.
industry. Yes, sir.
Anyone that wanted to be in the fashion industry, because Cab was about
That's right.
fashion.
That's right.
There's a guy in town, Travis Winky, told me I can have anything I want. If he's involved, I know he'll do it right.
Right.
Now, he can teach them on fashion design. He can
Right.
teach them how to be a runway model. But we have all of these things at our disposal coming out of our own pockets. And the folks over at Druid Heights go downtown and beg for $500,000
$500,000.
when I've already put $2 million on the table.
Right. Now, Now, you also went a step further and got how many signatures?
2,000 signatures.
Right.
I've got 2,000 signatures on a petition that says, please don't tear that home
And they're
down.
not just local.
They're from all
but
over
national,
the country.
Those that are artists and others that are saying,
And they're still
keep
coming
the
in.
legacy of Cab Calloway
And they're
alive in
still
Baltimore.
coming in.
Right.
France, you got guys in Vegas. You got guys touring all over the place. Folks don't understand, or maybe they don't remember, but Janet Jackson did a video with Cab.
Yep.
Cab was in a movie with Dan Aykroyd and the guys.
Of course.
They don't want that home destroyed.
Right.
I don't understand why it's coming down.
That's right. But before we came on the air, there was breaking news at the Baltimore Brew.
Yes,
right
it
here,
was.
the article is Cab Calloway's childhood house will be razed, HCD says, right? This is breaking news. So talk about that, because there was a meeting that was supposed to take place on Saturday. But again, as you've been saying,
Oh, my God.
there's been a deception by the likes of Jackie Cornish, Larry Young, those that are heavily tied to the Druid Heights Community Development Corporation, really using it for their own private slush fund to enrich themselves. That's not you saying that. That's not Brother Charles saying that. That's Brother Muhammad saying that. So I've sat back and watched them long enough do just that. Then they'll go and get these minions like Presley and others, just put them on the board to be figureheads, nothing else, when the ones that's doing it are the Jackie Cornish, the Larry Young, and they're working with some whites behind the scene to do just that and destroying black history, rich black history in the city of Baltimore, but particularly we're talking about the home of Cab Calloway. So let's talk about what took place on Saturday, this meeting that was supposed to take place.
Saturday's meeting was the final disposition and design, and it was an open meeting at the headquarters of the Druid Heights CDC.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Brooks decided he wasn't invited into the building. That's Cab Calloway's grandson. He wasn't invited
Yeah, I
into the
interviewed him
building.
on my radio show.
He was accosted on the street. And if the police weren't there, I don't know what would have happened. I think they would have hurt Peter, but they didn't allow him in the building.
Right.
They have never, ever allowed us to present to them the proposal that we had. Okay. Not once have they seen the proposal. It's 4 inches thick.
Mm-hmm.
It's got architectural design. It had blueprints in it, sketches in it. The economic impact that we thought we'd bring the city is over $8 million. So when you talk about, I need $500,000 to knock it down,
Right.
and X number to perpetually maintain it,
Right.
why are you not talking to the guys that are offering
That's right.
a fair share of money?
And the city and Jack Young, as the mayor, said that he wanted to have some type of meeting between your group, right?
Yes,
and
he did.
Druid Heights Development Corporation.
And they said they'd do it.
But then they didn't do it.
They didn't do it.
Right.
They deceived Jack.
Yes.
And, you know...
Well, he's not too... It don't take much to deceive him. I just got to be
well,
honest. But it's fine. We're going to deal with that.
They deceived Jack, and he was under the impression that we were going to have some kind of a meeting where they could see if that program had legs, value, if it was something that the community could get behind.
Right.
I've never been able to present it to the board.
Okay.
I would believe that if the board saw it, they would recognize that the 20-year plan that we have is a viable plan that's going to revitalize that neighborhood. They'd rather have a park, and I'm going to tell you why they want that park. Druid Hill Avenue is, there's an east side of the street and there's a west side of the street. We're talking about developing the west side.
Right.
Druid Heights Community Development owns the east side. If they knock down the houses on the west side,
There's nothing else left.
there's nothing else left, but
Right.
they have
And
increased
they-
the value of their property because
right.
across
That's
the
right.
street's now another
Nothing's over
park.
there. It's a park.
It's
Right.
a park.
Right.
But they don't have the money. Those houses have been boarded up for 10 years,
That's right. If not longer.
if not longer.
Not
So,
longer.
so-
Since Larry Young got kicked out of office in
so
1999.
what's their plan? Because our plan gets completed in 18 months.
Right.
We put houses together that quickly. 18 months, we can have a house done.
Yes, sir.
You've had 10 years.
That's
you
right.
don't have any money.
Don't have any money.
You're asking us to give you money.
That's right. Don't have nothing to show for it.
And you want to bump with a guy that has an offer on the table to buy and another $2 million to show completion.
Right.
I just don't understand it. I don't think anybody in town understands it. No one downtown understood it.
Right.
The mayor saw it. The president of the city council saw it. The controller saw it. The value people saw it. The housing commissioner saw it. The historic preservation people saw it. As a matter of fact, there's a contingent coming out on Friday to look at one of the properties that we're working on.
Okay.
They were going to look at it to see the quality of our work.
Right.
And on Saturday, last Saturday. They're coming out to see me on Friday.
Right.
But last Saturday, they made a final disposition on we're going to knock these houses down. That's deceptive.
Very deceptive. Now, talk about some of the other things that, or as you mentioned the deception, but talk about, before in this next few minutes that we have left, some of the other things that you've gone through while you and Charles and the other workers have been working in that community.
It's insane. We had a group of people out, I don't know, about a month ago, 12 to 15 people from the Department of Public Works, 3 dump trucks, 2 backhoes, a couple hedgehogs.
Right. Talk about how bad that. See, this is indicative when people were talking about President Trump talking about the trash in Baltimore. There's an enormous amount of cash that come through here, but you working on a house. Talk about what you're seeing just in Druid Heights in terms of the trash, not the trash on the ground, but just in terms of how the work hasn't been done on houses in so long.
The area was a dumping site. People would drive by and dump off appliances, mattresses, televisions.
Trees growing up.
Trees through the top of the houses.
Look like the Amazon, right?
Inside.
Right, inside homes, right.
So we couldn't get roll-offs down the alley because we couldn't negotiate it.
Right.
We couldn't do a J-turn with a 30-foot roll-off.
That's right.
So we called the Department of Public Works, and they came out, surveyed it, and they said, okay, we're going to clean it up for you. And in the process of cleaning it up, we were fired upon.
Yep.
They fired 4 shots at us.
Yep.
City
you were boarding up some houses, right?
Yeah, they boarded up a house that was,
stash house, right?
They boarded up a stash house, and for our trouble, we got fired upon. The city police came out. As a result of that, anytime the Department of Public Works employees come out, they must have a police escort now. They won't show up for anything without a police escort.
Right. Yes,
That's insane.
That's right.
Just yesterday, my workers were hassled on the street. They were continually hassled all day. When they came out at the end of the day, the tires on their trucks were slashed.
Now, you when I saw you Saturday, you were telling me about Jackie Cornish had been calling you, harassing you. Then you told me Donnie Glover had made a phone call to you, right?
Donnie Glover called me 4 o'clock in the morning one night and told me that Jackie Cornish, may I use the language that he used?
Absolutely. This is the State of the City radio show.
Donnie Glover called me at 4 o'clock in the morning and told me, Jackie Cornish told me to fuck you up. And I said, are you out of your mind?
Right.
I'm going to fuck you up. Donnie Glover doesn't even know who I am. As a matter of fact, you and I were together the other day.
Right. We went to Terror Cafe.
You and I were together.
It was a film crew filming Terrence Business, right?
Yep.
This after the show. We just happened to bump into each other.
Yep.
I get there, you're there.
I'm there with Peter.
Fields. You knew Lou Fields.
I used to work with
I don't trust Lou Fields.
Well, Lou, sometimes I don't trust Lou Fields.
He's a little goofy under the koofy, Lou Fields.
Well, sometimes I don't trust Lou either.
But please continue. Because I always say, see, that's the universal guard force that brought me there so that I can link up with you that afternoon after the show. But talk about...
The gentleman doesn't know who I am.
Right. Now don't know you from...
Man in the Moon.
Don't know you from Man from the Moon.
Calls me 4 o'clock in the morning and says, I'm going to fuck you up. Now, Donnie is sitting next to me.
Don't even realize. At Terror Cafe.
At Terror Cafe. Doesn't know who I am.
Yeah.
But this is the same guy that's going to fuck me up.
Right. And I said, what?
You said, please don't say anything to him. I went, I'll defer, I'll leave. I got nothing to say. This is Terrence's spot.
It's Terrence's spot, and he was having a major event where there was an out-of-town film crew filming him, right?
What was I going to do?
It's not the time, nor the place, or the space, right?
And what did I do?
Yeah, come on.
What did I do?
As we do as men.
I nodded.
Right, you nodded.
I nodded.
Right?
Said, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later. I yielded, and I left.
Yeah.
So that's one instance.
Right.
On Saturday, we got confronted by a group that has been identified as members of D Block. That's the local
D Block, huh?
D Block. You can look them up if you want.
Okay.
Go Google D Block and you'll find out how treacherous they are down in Druid Heights.
Right.
But they accosted us on the sidewalk while we were having a press conference and disrupted it.
Yes, sir.
So we decided to yield to that.
Okay.
Now what we're going to do with that is we're going to reconvene that press conference at a later date.
That's right.
At a site that we control, and we'll express ourselves and show the city just what we are doing.
Absolutely.
We have other projects. We're not going anywhere.
That's right.
We have projects in that neighborhood. We're not going anywhere. Projects all over town.
That's right.
Our goal is to rebuild this city. And the interesting thing is this. We are a group of black men.
Come on, brother.
All of us are black men.
That's right.
Everybody that works for us is a black man.
That's right.
We have all black money, and we're working in all black neighborhoods.
Come on.
And we're getting threats of death.
Right. By who? Not white folk.
Not by white folk,
black
by
folk.
our folk.
That's fronting for some white folk, though, for sure.
I don't know who they're fronting for, but they're not making any sense
Stick
to
around.
me.
I'm going to pull them covers off.
Well, They're not making any sense to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Why,
They clearly are not.
Why in God's name would you ask a citizen of Baltimore to participate in a $500,000 venue and an X Factor when you have a group that says, look, we'll take care of that. We'll bring you $8 million.
That's right.
Just work with us. We'll employ you. Work with us.
Right.
I have another guy that's willing to supply us guys, and that's brother Ben Combs. Mm-hmm. Ben Grimes, rather, I'm sorry. Up at the Manpower Center in Mondawmin. Right. Ben says, if you need people, let me know. I will be more than happy to give you people to work on your projects. So I've got a workforce in place.
Right.
I've got money in the bank, and I've got people on the street already working, and I'm still getting death threats and people trying to interfere with our business, which is interfering with our future and our advancement.
Right.
We're not asking for money. We're asking for opportunity.
So it's an opportunity zone.
It's an opportunity zone.
There are 42 opportunity zones in Baltimore.
Well,
right?
I know that particular block doesn't need to come down when I can bring it back.
Yes.
And I also know that those houses they'll be in vogue with Architectural Digest.
Right. And talk about why Baltimore, before we begin to wrap up, is so important, as we've been saying, because when you look up and down the East Coast right now, New York, those homes are going for $1 million or more, those brownstones.
The same homes in D.C. are selling for $750,000 to $1.5 million, $1.6 million.
Right.
Over here, they're going to sell for $250,000 to $350,000. Now, if I work in D.C. or live down that way, it's very attractive to me to take a $7 train ride and get to work. Now, I know folks here don't want the guys from D.C. coming over, so here's what we've decided to do. We were going to leave a window of opportunity for the folks in zip code 21217. I hadn't decided if it's going to be 120 or 180 days, but we were going to leave that window open for the folks down there to have first preference of the homes. Okay. If you don't buy it in 180, then obviously I've got debt to pay, so I'm going to sell it to whoever I can.
Right.
But we're leaving 120 to 180 days on the table for the folks in 21217. If anyone says we're displacing people by rebuilding these houses, that isn't true. Those houses are boarded up.
Right.
Those houses they've
already been displaced.
They look like Dresden.
They've already been displaced in that area.
They look like they've been bombed out in Dresden in World War II. So we're bringing people in, and we're bringing in taxes.
Yeah, it's going to be a tax base.
Because it's a $250,000 or $350,000 home.
That's right.
We're employing people.
That's right.
We're revitalizing the neighborhood, bringing it back, hopefully, to its original splendor. I don't see the rub here. I don't see why we're catching so much flack and so much interference. I just don't understand it. It's disheartening.
Right.
You know, it'll break, forget disheartening, it'll break your heart to understand that we're being attacked from D.C. by a president that calls us rat-infested. No decent person wants to live here. We're all corrupt. He attacks us all. And then a group of black men say, I'll tell you what, you attack us if you want. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to rebuild our own, and we don't need your money to do it.
Right. Yeah.
So why is anybody opposing what we're trying to do?
Good question. I agree. So at this point, as we begin to wrap up, what can the family that's listening do? I know you talked about doing a press conference. As soon as you set up another date, just got to let us know. We'll go from there.
Well, they posted this thing today, but I don't believe that's the final disposition. I know what they want.
Right.
But that's like a kid with 4 ponies asking for another one. You don't need them. You got 4 ponies. Why you need a 5th?
Right.
They don't need another park. But this has to go before board.
That's right.
Of estimates. They have to make a final decision.
Right.
And I don't believe the folks downtown want to pony up that money.
No.
I think they may want to say, let's review this process.
That's right.
And even if they don't hand it to me, they may want to open it to bid.
Right.
And make it a fair and equitable bid process. And if I get it, fine. If I don't, fine. But at least we don't have another park where we have drug use, prostitution, trash, and the people that aren't trying to bring back the city. I am trying to bring it back.
Right.
I'm going to continue to bring it back. God willing, and the creek don't rise, as we used to say.
Come on.
We're going to do that. We are stable. They're young. I'm old. Right. I imagine my partners have another 40 years to live. I don't see that for myself, but I'll ride another 20 with them.
Yes, sir.
But we are trying our best to offer the schools.
Right.
We're offering the kids today a future for tomorrow. We're working hard today so that they have a future tomorrow.
Right.
If someone did that 20 years ago, these houses wouldn't be as decayed
That's right.
and corrupted as they are.
Right.
If I showed you the inside of them, you'd think I was crazy because they have no floors. They have no roofs.
That's right.
They are splintered, decayed timbers.
Right.
It takes us 2 weeks to get the crap out of them so we can begin to get the architects in to design them. And that goes on in every one of them that we have.
Yes, sir. So as we begin to wrap up, brother, let's get your contact information where those that are listening can reach you. And if they want to help as well, let's make sure we get that information out. All right?
Out of my glasses, you have
No
to read
problem.
that.
I got them.
Give them the
I don't
email,
need my
give them the
glasses.
phone
I'm going
numbers.
to give you your phone number, of course, to reach Brother Brian J. Hawkins. He can be reached at 443-400, right? 6690. And email is hawk@brandnewbaltimore.com.
That's
all right?
correct.
That's hawk@brandnewbaltimore.com, all one word. So again, office number or phone number 443-400-6690 to reach this brother, to help him and help, of course, the family of, again, Cab Calloway, and keeping that home up, keep it functional, and to develop it and to protect that legacy. Never neglect the legacy and respect our legacies. But we say shame on those that were using these tactics to try to silence this brother, try to silence the family of Cab Calloway, and they will not be silent. And the community's not going to be silent. And you know damn well I'm not going to be silent about it. So let the word go forward. All we're going to do is turn up the heat from here. So as soon as you decide,
Turning it up.
after speaking with the family of Cab Calloway, when that press conference is going to take place, where that press conference is going to take place,
You got it.
promise you got the army. All right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my brother. Go in peace. We're going to go to this quick musical break.
Thanks,
Come
sir.
back. Going to turn it up because I got much more I got to get into. We'll probably do Baltimore before I go national. Talk about, again, things that are happening nationally in the news. So listen to this message again from Nina Simone, of course. Oh, Baltimore. Right on time. So listen to this. Thank you, Brother Brian. Thank you,
sir.
brother.
Thank
to
you,
the
brother.
family out there, Brother Peter, to Madeline Murphy, to the family of Cab Calloway. Thank you, Brother Charles Martin. Thank those that really care
Cameron
and are
Murphy.
stepping up and showing that they care as well. All right? So we'll go to this quick musical break. We'll be right back with more of the State of the City.
Thanks, sir. And I don't know, like...
Who had a not so publicized fundraiser the other night. According to the Baltimore Brew, he had this fundraiser at the Tiffany's Inn or Tiffany's East. Now, for those that don't know where Tiffany East is, that's over there at 4100 block of Lombard Street. Lombard, little greasy, slimy, redneck spot over there. I only know white folk that have events over there at the Tiffany Inn. It's so small, right? Got that half writing up on the marquee. They be having I don't know who be having weddings over there. It might be some midgets. I ain't never seen nobody having no event going in and out of there. So the question is, who hosted this event for Mayor Jack Young this past Saturday night? That give new meaning to Earth, Wind, and Fire Saturday night. So they had this event, which supposed to have been a fundraiser. I think it was $30 a person over at Tiffany's, what they call it, East? And you can't make me believe they got a Tiffany West around here somewhere. Please, not that little spot over there. So, nevertheless, there was an event that was $30 a person in terms of the tickets, and looked like from the article that's at the Baltimore Brew, the person that was hosting the event was in fact, what's his name? Is that not Kevin Parsons? I forget his name. Parsons, right? Who worked in the city clerk's office and ran for a city clerk. Nice guy, a little goofy. But you gotta keep it real. A little goofy. That elevator with him surely don't come all the way to the top stairs. And they were talking about some time ago that he was living in Baltimore but working in Philadelphia. They were trying to figure out how he was doing that, right? I think his name Kevin Parsons. I know he's a Parsons. But let me keep going, man. We talking about Saturday night and Jack Young, because as I said before, they had this event at Tiffany's little hole in the wall spot over there next to where the Eldorado's Lounge used to be. Old Kenny Bird spot right there on the corner at Haven and Lombard Street. You can't even get 5 cars on that parking lot over there if you ever been over there. So I'm like, I know the man was cheap. I didn't know it was that cheap. I know he wearing them Sears sucker suits, man, but I didn't know he was that cheap of a sucker, and he walking around having a fundraiser at Tiffany's, man. So now this event was at Tiffany's, as I said before, and that little Sears sucker suit that the mayor likes to wear. May need a little help with adjusting this mic, my brother, if you don't mind. But nevertheless, they had this event, and as I said before, it was over at Tiffany's. The question is, whose idea was it to have this event or this fundraiser, which was supposed to have been $20 or $30 a person to get in? But nevertheless, according to this article that was in the Baltimore Brew, which I'm going to read, so you might as well get ready. Mayor Young's party on Saturday was a fundraiser in Baltimore. So this was laughable, but again, it's vindication for Brother Muhammad, as I said before, because the more you think things change, you see that things remain the same. But it's vindication, and I'm going to get into and share with you why it was vindication as we're talking about this article that was in the Baltimore Brew today, or 2 days ago, September the 30th. But I read the article, and I sent the article out to many of you that are my friends on Facebook and Messenger. I sent the article. I think Coach Butch McAdams got it. He brought it up on the airways this morning. So many of you, sometimes when you hear him bringing up information, he can't never say where he got the information. If he did, they might find a convenient way of pulling his mic or pulling him off the air, because I'm persona non grata in some of them circles over there at Radio 1. But nevertheless, let me get into this article. Mayor Young's party on Saturday was a fundraiser. Checks of money orders payable to friends of Bernard C. Jack Young, says a flyer circulated to a limited number of contacts on behalf of Young, who has yet to declare. So this article starts off, says, an East Baltimore event for Mayor Bernard C. Jack Young on Saturday, labeled a private party by several participants, was in fact a fundraiser for the mayor, as we initially reported. Money exchanged hands with a minimum donation of $30 for the more than 250 people. You can't get no 250 people in Tiffany's. That building ain't that big, man. You probably gotta go through the parking lot, do a drive-through. Hey, get us to Jack Young. I gotta keep it moving. You know you can't get no damn 250 people in Tiffany. Fire marshal come shut you down. You might be able to get 50 people in Tiffany's. If you go into that Facebook page, they don't even show you what the place look like on the outside because it looks so god awful, man. You can get 5 compact cars on the parking lot. You can't get no SUVs on that parking lot. They get more cars on the parking lot over there that the Hispanics own, Carvinos or whatever, over there, than you can get on Tiffany's, man. But let's keep going here. Money exchange hand with a minimum donation. I don't know who's trying to call me. I'm doing a radio show right now. Money exchange hands with a minimum donation of $30 for the more than 250 people who attended the event at Tiffany's East on Highlandtown, according to a flyer obtained by the Brew. The fundraiser was sponsored by friends of Bernard C. Jack Young. Then it goes on and says his official campaign committee and checks and money orders were made payable to the committee. The event was not listed among the mayor's public events on Saturday. Knowledge about the fundraiser was limited to longtime friends and was characterized as a means to show support for the mayor. Yeah, you might want to get away with that one, but let's keep going here. It goes on to say, Young has repeatedly declined to publicly announce his candidacy for mayor, but has made it privately known that he is actively raising money to win the April 2020 Democratic primary. The April primary will determine who becomes the next mayor in Democratic-dominated Baltimore. Candidates must declare by January 24th, 2020 to get on the ballot. Then there's a picture with Jack Young with Kevin Parsons looking goofy. Well, Jack got on, I don't know what kind of hat. What kind of hat is that, man? That ain't no Stetson he wearing. I don't know what kind of hat Jack got on right there, man. But nevertheless, O'Malley's treasure. Now here come the good part, as I've been telling you before, that Martin O'Malley is Baltimore's Bobby Bradford. Now for those of you who don't know who Bobby Bradford is, that's the white guy. If you ever watch horse racing, the Preakness, the Belmont Stakes, and the Kentucky Derby. Bobby Bradford is the white guy, older guy with the white hair, always wear the sunglasses, and trains all these race horses. And so he'll train 4 different horses and run them all in the Preakness, in the Kentucky Derby, and in the Belmont Stakes. So no matter which one wins, Bobby Bradford is going to win, man. Martin O'Malley, the Teflon Don Leprechaun, who's part of the Irish Catholic Jesuit Syndicate in Baltimore, Maryland. The Tammany Hall-style politician Martin O'Malley is doing the same thing with these black politician men and women in Baltimore City. And if you don't believe me, here's more proof. And a name that I told you before that was Martin O'Malley's treasure. Not only this man Martin O'Malley's treasure, he's also your state's attorney, Marilyn Mosby's treasure. So for those of you to say Marilyn Mosby is fresh meat, no. She's just a pretty face to some of you, because that when you look in her eyes, she's in that sunken place. She ain't all the way there, man. Trust me, okay? But her treasurer, or Martin O'Malley's treasurer, is her treasure. And not only is he Martin O'Malley's treasurer, Marilyn Mosby's treasurer, he's also the lawyer for members of the Gun Trace Task Force. So y'all gonna have to begin to see this, as Brother Muhammad has been telling you before, part of criminal, corrupt enterprise and syndicate. That he's the bag man, not the treasure. He's the bag man. Well, let's get into it. O'Malley's treasure. This is at the Baltimore Brew. You can go online and read it. For those of you say, Brother Muhammad, you hating on Jack Young, or you hating on State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby, or you hating on this person, or you hating on that person, shut up. Because you just hate to hear the truth, okay? That's what it is right there. You're nothing but a coward, and you hate to hear the truth. So let's keep going. O'Malley's treasure. Meanwhile, Young has taken a big step toward tapping into the higher realms of donor class. That mean Mr. Bobo. That mean fake white liberals, okay? That mean the syndicates is who he wants to tap into. So let's keep going here. Because as I always say, only those with bad credit need what? Co-signers. So somebody is co-signed for Jack Young. And once he gets this man, who I'm about to give you his name, as his treasurer or bag man, I mean, Jack gonna owe a lot more people. He now is up in the big leagues, or he was already up in the big leagues. The only thing they doing now is passing them on like you do a prostitute. That's all. Like you doing a loose Lucy. You know what I mean? You just passing them on, man. That's a puff pass his ass. That's all. Like they did with Sheila Dixon, like they did with Stephanie Rollins, like they did with Kathy Pugh. Puff pass. You know what I mean? Or Kathy, I'm through. You know what I mean? Or Kathy, who do I do? Is all she was asking when she come in. Now she Kathy through. And she just sold a house, they said, this weekend, right? She sold 2 of her houses, and she had 2 houses in Ashburton. 69-year-old single black woman. What she need 2 houses for? Right? Unless she running a bed and breakfast spot. Or she running an Airbnb. But as I said to her before, when they finished with her, she wasn't going to be saying Ashburton. She was going to say my ass hurt when they finished with her. And they're not done with her. So let's keep going. So now, meanwhile, Young has taken a big step toward tapping into the higher realms of donor class by selecting Martin F. Cadogan. And the Cadogan is spelled C-A-D-O-G-A-N. Martin F. Cadogan as his new campaign treasurer. Now, Jack Young's campaign treasurer, which I warned him that his treasurer, Keith Timmons, was the same treasurer for Kathy Pugh. So when the feds raided Kathy Pugh's house, they, on the same day, check the record, they raided Keith Timmons' house and office. So whatever Keith Timmons did for Jack Young, the feds already know. So how long you think Jack gonna stay in that position, man? How long you think he gonna stay in there as mayor before they start to, begin to just sprinkle little stuff out there on him, man? Is what I'm saying. So now Jack Young has gotten rid of Keith Timmons, and he's hired Martin Cadigan to be his treasurer. And they tell me Keith Timmons have been singing like, what's that little bird on Tweety Bird? Tweety Bird, I think I thought a putty cat. That's how he been singing to the feds, man. All right? So Jack has gotten rid of Keith Timmons. Keith Timmons was the one who worked with Kathy Pugh and set up the Healthy Holly LLCs, man. If you didn't know it. His office is right downtown at, what is that address? 536 or 506. What is that? St. Paul? St. Paul on the right-hand side. On the right-hand side is where his office is, okay? On the 3rd floor. That's why I was getting ready to say 3. He's on the 3rd floor. But let's keep going, all right? Because the day they raided Kathy Pugh's home and they raided City Hall, the other raid was on Keith Timmons, which is Kathy Pugh's treasurer, but he also was Jack Young's treasurer. And I said the worst thing Jack Young could do was not go have a press conference and put all his stuff out front in terms of his relationship with Keith Timmons and any LLCs that Keith Timmons set up for him. So, again, Jack think that he can get into bed with these wolves like Martin O'Malley and the boys. I'm warning him. He don't think that is not going to come out. They had a press conference the other day, a law firm called Thornton and Grant, or Grant and Thornton. I seen it on Channel 25, which they call the Mayor's Station. I don't know why they call it the Mayor's Station. But at the press conference with Martin O'Malley, the guy who was one of the managing partners introduced O'Malley before he even acknowledged Jack Young, man. So clearly, Jack is running with some bigger wolves now. Or he's always been running with them. It's just coming to the surface now for some of you who didn't want to believe what I was saying was there the whole time. And I heard Coach Butch McAdams say after I sent them the article, see, they're going to read the article and then dismiss the obvious. He wouldn't have Martin O'Malley's treasurer if Martin O'Malley is not controlling Jack Young. Jack Young's administration has been an amalgamation of Kathy Pugh, Stephanie Rawlins, Sheila Dixon, and Martin O'Malley. Usually when new mayors come in, they bring in their own people. Jack ain't bringing his own people. Sheila didn't bring in her own people. Kathy didn't bring in her own people. Stephanie didn't bring in her. They kept people that were there under Martin O'Malley. It was so bad that Sheila Dixon hired Martin O'Malley's brother, Peter O'Malley. Even though they said, well, the money was paid for by the Abel Foundation. He still was working for it. In the last administration under Kathy Pugh, Jim Smith, who was Martin O'Malley's Teflon Don Leprechaun, the former Baltimore County exec, that was the chief of staff to Kathy Pugh. So he was the neck, she was the head. So all these people worked under Martin O'Malley. Cheryl Goldstein, who's right now, many said, is the mayor. She's married to the former state's attorney, Greg Bernstein. She's so-called chief of staff to Jack Young, but she calling all the shots in there. The white boy who's the chief communication head of the Baltimore Police Department, Matt Jablow, worked under Martin O'Malley and was Martin O'Malley's Goebel, as O'Malley was Hitler to black folk in terms of being a tormentor, in terms of being the one who was carrying about making the trains run on time and illegal arrest of black men and women, 100,000 a year over a 5-year period. Matt Jablow was his secretary, was his police spokesperson when it was going on. So Matt Jablow is there. He's telling Michael Harrison, the police commissioner, what to say and do. So those are Martin O'Malley's people. They're just like Ajax. They say Ajax been there, Martin O'Malley's been there. So when you look at who's in Jack Young administration, Jack Young know this information. He know the history of Matt Jablow. How come Jack Young has said, wait a minute, he can't be no spokesperson in the police department? He's the chief spokesperson in the police department. That's why T.J. Smith left. If you didn't know, T.J. Smith obviously didn't want to take orders from Matt Jablow. But I don't know why he take orders from all them other white boys. One more white boy, one more master. I don't know why that would have been a problem for T.J. Smith. The Jocko boy for Kevin Davis. the long Jocko for Kevin Davis. So I don't know why, but let's keep going here. For those of you that are tuning in on Facebook. So now it says, Maryland Board of Election Records show Cadigan replaced Keith E. Timmons last Thursday, September the 26th. So now, after Brandon Scott makes his announcement, and I think Cadigan, I got to check the record. I'm almost certain Cadigan is also the treasurer for Brandon Scott. So if it is, in the words of Aretha Franklin, who's zooming who here, man? Who's zooming who? All right? Who's zooming who? Or as we always say, there's no honor among thieves, man. That's the bottom line. So now, Maryland Board of Election records show Cadigan replaced Keith Timmons last Thursday. Cadigan was Martin O'Malley's campaign treasurer for nearly 3 decades, during which time O'Malley was both mayor of Baltimore City and governor of Maryland. Cadigan also served on the finance committee of former Mayor Stephanie Rawlins Blake. Now check this out. Cadigan also worked in the law firm with Billy Murphy. And what's the one that got popped 2 weeks ago? Did they raided his office? Ravenel? Cadigan also worked with Ravenel. See, more proof that these are syndicate lawyers, man. Cadigan is the lawyer for a couple of the gun trace task force members and teams, in particular, the commander, the one who was showing them how to cover up their crimes. Commander by the name of, what's his name? Everybody's afraid of him. They don't even, Lou Hops won't say his name. The retired police officer won't say his name. I got it written down. It'll come to me, don't worry. Palmieri. Dean Palmieri. Dean Palmieri. That's his lawyer. So now it says, a Towson lawyer, Cadigan, founded Ford Development, a Baltimore City certified women's business enterprise. Now that's after he left. See, now even he getting in on, everybody gets in on sucking off this black mammary gland. He set him up Ford Development, or Six Development, pardon me. Yeah, the V and the 1, that's the 6. Six Development, a Baltimore City certified women's business enterprise that now includes Carolyn Path, a former city development officer and former vice president of Sagamore Development, the real estate arm of Under Armour CEO Kevin Plank. So, see who Jack Young's looking out for? Now, let's keep going. The lawyer did not return emails and telephone requests to discuss his role in Young's campaign, right? He said no comment. Others involved in Saturday's event was equally bashful. Clifton L. Addison, a city general services employee who helped organize Young event, declined to provide any information about the fundraiser. Call the mayor's office, he instructed the Brute today. Another organizer, city school administrator Mike Wise Sr., confirmed that Young did make an announcement about his political ambitions on Saturday, but declined to reveal what it was. He'll make a public announcement in the coming months, Wise offered. Goes on and says, big war chest. There's a picture here of Kevin Parson, Mike Wise, Jack Young, a couple of other guys that's in this picture right here as well at the fundraiser. Big war chest. Young entered the campaign season with a large war chest accumulated from his 9 years as city council president and well-known penchant for raising money among city businesses and contractors. But most of his money comes from contractors outside of Baltimore. His last campaign statement, dated January 16th, 2019, disclosed a $600,000 cash balance after spending $36,000 in 2018, mostly to aid the campaigns of several political allies. They included Kevin W. Parson, member of the 45th District Democratic State Central Committee, who was active in Saturday's event. Listed as a deputy register of wills, Parson could not be reached for comment. That's interesting, much as he likes to talk. He unsuccessfully ran for clerk of the Baltimore Circuit Court last year. And, oh, man, this little ugly sign at Tiffany's, man. Y'all got to see that little ugly sign, man. Hey, it'd be so bad they can't even put all the letters up on the marquee up there, man. Look like the scramble board on the Soul Train look better than that, man. But this is Tiffany's over there in 41. I know your man was cheap. I didn't know he was that cheap, man. All right? But, again, you can go to Baltimore Brew and read this article. But speaking of your mayor and being cheap, man, let me get into what I wanted to talk about. That was your mayor, Mayor Jack Young, last week, talking about in the Baltimore City paper this week, I think it's last Thursday's paper, plan to limit exposure to gun trace task force lawsuits are risky, man. So your mayor saying all these black men that has been victims of the gun trace task force, that now when their turn comes, it's the same man city solicitor that was willing to put up money to hire lawyers to help illegal, undocumented Hispanics that are in the city and in the country illegally, making Baltimore a sanctuary city, right? He couldn't put up money to help all these brothers that are illegally arrested by the Gun Trace Task Force. One of them, another one, took a plea deal last week, Carmen Vignola. Now, when the black men turn comes, the black man I'm talking about, the black man I'm talking about, right? The voiceless and the choiceless in the city of Baltimore. Jack Young, who's a black man. Now, never mind, he got Dr. Andre Bunley serving with him as his chair of the, what do you call that? The 100, what do you call that? The Commission on Black Males, man, right? Or African American males. Never mind, he got this group Roka running around and gave them $17 million that Kathy Pugh gave them, talking about they working with black youth. They can't even help the squeegee boys out there. I don't know what the hell they doing, man. They had a call to action with all these groups downtown, man, in terms of what we gonna do about the squeegee boys. I think I brought the article today. They had a big article. No, it was in the paper the other day. Squeegee Kid Solution, topic of private meeting. Now, they didn't have a private meeting to say, look, we got all these victims of the Gun Trace Task Force. Jack Young could have called the president of all these companies, man. T. Rowe Price, right? Downtown Partnership. All these goddamn CEOs to say, look, man, we got to do something to make these black men whole that were languishing in jail because of the criminality of the Gun Trace Task Force. But Jack Young couldn't do that. But he could pull together a meeting with these white boys who pulled him into the meeting to talk about what we going to do about them nappy-head squeegee boys. That's what they want to talk about. Now how to make black men whole that are 50% unemployed in Baltimore City. And now, because they got a criminal record, he don't want to help expunge the criminal record and then give justice to those brothers, is what Jack Young is saying. Now he want to cry broke when our turn comes, right? He paid out a few years ago when he was the city council president. HUD owed victims of lead paint poisoning. They was talking about they wasn't gonna pay. The judge said go put a boot on them cars. So I'm saying do the same thing. If the police department don't want to pay, if Jack Young don't want to go into their insurance, if he don't want to go into all them off the book accounts they got down there, if he don't want to go into their pension, if he don't want to go into the rainy day fund, if he don't want to call his good friend and advisor, Kevin Plank, who does give money to the police department, donate bulletproof vests to the dogs on the police department. If he don't want to call all them vendors and all them white contractors of his sugar daddies. If he don't want to call Bishop Laurie, the richest white man in the city in the state of Maryland, the Archdiocese of Maryland. If he don't want to call the white boy Ross McNutt with his persistent surveillance or community solution spy planes. If he don't want to call the white man and white woman that funded Ross McNutt spy plane, Laura and John Arnold from what was that Houston company they had where they stole all the money? What's that big energy company down there? The name of it escapes me right now. You know the name of it. Out of Houston. What was the name of it? It'll come to me. It don't matter. It don't. You know the big energy company down there, man. They was what was his name? Ken Lay and them that was the head of, man. It escapes me right now. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All right? But Jack Young can call all them, man. And if he don't want to do that, then what he should be doing is what's coming up? What's the next major holiday coming up? Halloween? He need to get him a big black sign and a black and orange sign, put it down there at 600 East Fayette Street. Say we having a going out of business sale. We having a sidewalk sale. We having a fire sale. We having a everything must go sale down here. You know how city agencies and state agencies, when they got surplus furniture and cars and everything, they have sales. So this police department got that many lawsuits and they got to boot up, and I mean really boot up in the right way. You know how when you owe the city and you don't pay, they put a boot on your car, man. You go outside and your car been booted. Some of y'all hiding your car tonight because you think it might get booted, right? So you know how they boot up your stuff? Then you boot up that stuff, man. Put a boot on the cars. They got some unmarked police vehicles. They got some marked ones. And some of the dope boys, you know, y'all like them posts, especially them Crown Vics, man. Y'all can't wait to copy and get with the rides. They get the dope rides that the police officers have, don't they, bro? So all I'm saying, if the city don't want to pay, put a lien on the stuff, man. And you start booting up. That's all. The same The same thing that the judge said when they didn't want to pay the victims of lead paint poisoning, man. The judge started putting boots on the cars. Don't act like I'm creating something and saying something new. You start booting that and they get the message. Jack will get the message. And you got those talking about, well, the city don't have the money to pay out. You a damn lie. They gave Freddie Gray family $6.4 million. And that little snotty-nosed brother and his little snotty-nosed sister, and that, pardon my language, that addicted mom, I'm going to put it like that, okay? And Billy Murphy, another cocaine head, Billy Murphy, who ain't been connected to the black community, I always jokingly say, he ain't been connected since he got that chipped tooth corrected. You know what I mean? Y'all remember when Nas used to have that chipped tooth? Nas got his thing straight. You know what I mean? Billy Murphy ain't been connected since he got that chipped tooth corrected with that little rat tail he used to have in the back of his head. I think he still got that rat tail. But Billy Murphy got $6.4 million without ever filing one piece of paper, man. They perverted. You got at least got to file paperwork and go to court. How the hell you gonna get? And y'all notice y'all ain't seen Freddie Gray family since then. They ain't had a back to school drive. They ain't had a Gilmore community picnic. I mean a barbecue. Nothing, man. I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? Even the drug dealers in the community. I mean, when Skinny Suge and the brothers around, man, they sponsored some basketball games or something. They had some block parties, man. You know what I mean? You ain't seen Freddie Gray family. If he did, y'all call in and let me know, man. Freddie Gray family got paid and they gone. You ain't seen them. Jamal Brown got paid, gone. He down there in Atlanta, man. But in the words of what Jamal Brown said, them hoes ain't loyal, man. Them hoes ain't loyal. So all I'm saying, man, don't flip the script now when the brothers' turn comes that have been victims of the gun trace task force. Then for Jack Young to say they wasn't police officers. The hell they wasn't. They ain't no some separate entity in the Maryland. They are the Baltimore City Police Department. So don't flip the script now and say they wasn't police officers. They were in fact police officers, man. So in fact, the city's in a case right now where a security officer who was working at the convention center was carrying out acts of voyeurism, videotaping young girls who was coming in for cheerleader competitions and other competitions at the convention center. You don't hear Jack Young saying, look, he wasn't working for the city. He was in fact working for the city. So for Jack Young, he ain't fighting that because the majority of them little girls are white girls. So Jack Young and the city solicitor has entered into negotiations with the lawyers for them. You can Google the article. But yet when it comes to black men, straight black men, because you better know if they was doing this to a bunch of Hispanics, Jack Young be sitting down with Casa Merlin, sitting down with the ACLU and saying, we're going to pay them men. We're going to pay those men that were stripped and held in. But you don't hear them saying this for black men. But yet you black men like Kevin Parson and them would take their asses over there and co-sign for Jack Young at a fundraiser. Rather say, what you doing, Jack, is wrong, man. But see, this shows you what they want. All they want is to have access. They want to be up in his box at the Ravens game. They want to be at his box at the Orioles game. They want to be on his jock and on his cock if they got to, if that means giving them some street cred or some sweet cred with our people. That's the bottom line. So now when it comes to straight black men, because if they was doing this to a bunch of trannies out there on Charles and North Avenue, then you better know, they don't call them trannies. You know what they call them when they're out there? Oh, we're sex workers, right? But you won't say the squeegee boys out there, non-profit workers, right? Entrepreneurs. So look how they'll humanize some trannies. Humanize some undocumented that's in the country illegally, in the city illegally. But when it comes to black men, they say, oh no, we can't pay them niggas nothing. That's what they're literally saying. We ain't paying you niggas nothing. So he gonna fight. They already said that they've spent, in the last 3 years, they paid out $24 million and they spent $11 million in attorney fees fighting against those that want to get justice, man. Then to add insult to that, you just saw recently when Brandon Scott announced he was running, where Jack Young finally said he's lifting the gag order for anybody who settles with the city in terms of a police case. You can't talk about the case. So you see what Jack, I mean, look, man, y'all can try to dress this boy up if you want, but he is what he is. Like I said, he is what he is. He's a coward. That's the same one that used to be out on the corner selling drugs. The brothers told me they used to take his drug money and send him home. Get your ass out the corner, boy. You know what I mean? Now they done cleaned him up, put a Brooks Brothers suit on him, right? But you can put a Brooks Brothers suit on a dummy at Nordstrom's down in Iraq. You know what I mean? Down in Iraq. That don't make him anything. Okay? Somebody got to love you enough to tell you the God's honest truth. Some of you listening and watching around the country, ain't nobody else going to tell you about this no good man. I'm going to tell you about him, okay? And he ain't going to never call and say what I'm saying is not the truth. And if he strapped for money, sell that house he got over there. He claimed he live in East Baltimore. Or sell that house out there in Edgewood, Maryland. If you strapped for money, that's what you do. But don't, when the rules change, don't come to us now and change the rules, rather, when it comes to black men. And change the script and say, we don't have no money. Then here's some of you cowards calling on a radio show trying to justify that. They've paid people in L.A. They've paid people in other cities. They ain't say, is the city going to go bankrupt? But if the police department needs to go bankrupt or you need to put it under federal receivership, then you put the police department under federal receivership. You ain't got to put the whole city under receivership. You put the department that committed the crime under receivership. Health department didn't do it. Your DPW didn't do it. Recreation and Parks didn't do it. It was the police department. So it was the police department. That's the one you put under receivership. Till justice rolled down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. That's how you do it. But you can't have dum-dums on radio that don't know what the hell they talking about, trying to sell it and tell it to the public. So that's the bottom line. But that's in Thursday's paper, man, or Monday's paper. Yesterday's paper, pardon me. William, man, I ain't even gonna read the whole article, man. But it's despicable. That's his plan. And they're gonna lose and lose big, man. Ain't no judge going along with this. And this is why the city is under a federal consent decree. That you're gonna say that these police officers wasn't operating as police officers. And this is where you get real black media. And I gotta thank God for the late Ken Harris, man. It was Ken Harris. It was some of the black officers at the time with the Vanguard Justice Society. When they had a little bit of balls, man. Right now, I don't think they got, they've been castrated for the most part, Vanguard Justice Society. But when I was hosting the show with Brother Ed Slim Butler, they came to us and met us. It was Wilson. I think the other one might have been Butler, but I know one was Wilson. And they told us about the quotas that they had in the department. That they had to stop so many people an hour, so many people a night, so many people a shift. Then Ken Harris went further. And see, you know that these quota sheets are still operating. See, this is where you need people on the inside. All you to keep saying you got some good officers in there, tell them bring you them quota sheets then. If they good officers, tell them bring you them quota sheets that they pass out when they have shift change, right? Or when they have roll call. Bring us them quota sheets, Clyde Boatwright. Bring us them quota sheets, so-and-so. If you say they're a good officer, get me them goddamn quota sheets. Because now you're using the paper trail to show that this is why they still going after black men the way they're going after black men. That they got so many arrests, car stops, gun stops, things like that that's on the quota sheets, man. And that's what Ken Harris gave us. I had a lot of that in my files. But over the years, through my moving, right? Because when you do this kind of work, trust me, ain't no rest for the weary. My good friend and brother David Johnson can tell you this. You know what I mean? So as I've been moving around place to place sometimes, right? Then those files were lost. But I had the quota sheets, man, in which all of that was listed on there. Every 28 days, they had to have so many arrests. If the commanders and if the lieutenants sergeants didn't do it, they'd get moved to another district, or they moved them from a PM, AM shift to a late night graveyard shift, man. So all of that was intimidation tactics and strategies being used against the police officers, man. But Ken Harris gave me that information, man, when others wouldn't step up and give it to us. So where the Serpicos in the police department? That's the question I'm at. Where the black Serpicos? Where the white Serpicos, man? Speaking of white Serpicos, I saw where, unfortunately, one of the retired members of the Guardian Angels was beat up downtown following the Ravens game the other day, Michael O'Hara. I spoke to, what's my brother name? Marcus Dent, longtime member of the Guardian Angels. We, of course, say keep him in prayer in terms of his recovery. His wife, they was attacked downtown outside of this new Chop Tank. What do they call it? Chop Tank restaurant? Look like Shop Bank restaurant. Look like Shark Tank restaurant, right? Look like some young black guys beating on this older white man, man. But again, it was right after the Ravens game. So again, you don't know what might have precipitated it, but Michael O'Hara was coming to the defense of somebody else who was being attacked. So clearly, man, part of it could be tied to that game. Y'all lose a game, y'all go cray-cray, man. y'all know how you are. Y'all lose a game, You said, what's that old song say? Don't let it go to your head. Some of y'all let it go to more than just your head, man. Go home, beat your wife, argue with your girlfriend. They said that the domestic violence increases during football season and culminates at the Super Bowl, man. Domestic violence, human trafficking, child abuse, trafficking, and everything with this so-called king of sports in America. But I pray for the recovery of Michael O'Hara, and I said to Marcus Dent, because him and I, we've always had a cordial respect, mutual respect for one another, right? With the work that the Guardian Angels have done in Baltimore. And years ago, when 16-year-old or 15-year-old Felicia Barnes went missing, and Brother Muhammad put the call out to black men to come out. Black women came out, and we organized a search committee. The only other group that came out there on that day and that cold weather was the Guardian Angels, man. And so my respect for them at that time grew. Their respect for Brother Muhammad grew because we, of course, was putting our money and our time and our talent where our hearts were to find this little missing baby up off of Righteoustown Road in that apartment complex where she went missing from. So that's when I met Marcus then. That's when I met and knew of Sister Victoria Kent and others that were part of, shout out to Sister Victoria, nothing but love for you, my sister, all right? But those that were part of the Guardian Angels and the work that they were doing in Baltimore, all right? So, again, you tuned to the State of the City. So I won't read this whole article, man, but it's interesting that Jack Young and his city solicitor, Andre Davis, who is a retired Fourth Circuit court judge, man, on a federal level, would challenge this. And you got the NAACP here, national NAACP, local NAACP. Notice you ain't heard nothing from Kobe Little. Kobe Little haven't said anything. Urban League hasn't said anything. Well, I don't expect National Action Network because Larry Young and them use the National Action Network to shake people down for money like Al Sharpton. That's all. No more, no less. They won't take no stand on no real issues, man. They like the weather, man. They want to see which way the weather blows. You know what I mean? That's how they are, okay? But as Dr. King said, vanity as does it look good, right? Then he said, pose ask, is it popular? He said, but when you lay down at night, your conscience got to ask, is it right, man? In terms of what your mayor is doing and saying and your city solicitor to 2,000 or more black men that are still languishing in jail. Your state's attorney, Merlin Mosby, said she may have to throw out 700 cases. It's more than 700. But if you got to throw out 700, we should have a multi-class action lawsuit. And not that little bitty-pitty, little itty-bitty, titty-pitty multi-class action lawsuit that the NAACP under Doc Cheatham at that time did, claiming that they were suing with the ACLU, Martin O'Malley, around illegal arrest. They sued for 8 people, man. I just said they were arresting 100,000 people a year over a 5-year period. What the hell you look like suing for 8 goddamn people, man? And they were students that went to Morgan. You know what I mean? 8 people out of 800 people. And then them niggas, trifling, pardon my language for saying niggas, but that's really what they are. They was over at the NAACP campaign headquarters having soda and pizza as they're celebrating something, man. 8 people out of 800,000 people. But that shows you, again, weak people stand strong on weak issues, man. And I've told you before, Doc Cheatham is pretty weak. NAACP is pretty weak, okay? When it comes to standing up on real strong issues. And this is happening with the national NAACP in Baltimore City, up there on Mount Hope Drive, or they turned it into Mount Hope Drive when Kwesi Mfume was up there along with Jamal Bryant, sleeping with all the women they were sleeping with, and the women were having fights inside the building, throwing computers at each other and everything. Then they started paying the women off for Kwesi Mfume and Jamal Bryant. And then they started moving the women around and giving them city jobs. Y'all know what I'm saying is true, okay? May not want to talk about it, but you know what I'm saying is true. So you tune to the State of the City. Won't get into all that, man. Saw where, this other article I want to get into. I'm going to come back and talk more about your man. But I saw where on Channel 2, did you see this article? Where the little girl went to school and one of the clinics put a birth control implant in her arm, man, without her parents' permission. Now, Brother Muhammad, for those of you that don't know me, and those of you that do know me from the Nation of Islam, I was the one that sounded the alarm in 1990, late 80s, early 90s, to Minister Jamil Muhammad, who was the minister in Baltimore, about the city's plan at that time under Health Commissioner Peter Bilson, right? to put Norplant into the arms of black girls. See, this is to control our birth. This is about population control. And so the whites, the racist whites, okay, they were looking at the demography, looking at our population was getting larger with a stronger youth population. The white population in Baltimore City is getting older with an older population. So they said, as Pharaoh said in the Bible, when he saw the children of Israel multiplying, he said, come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, right? Join on with an army and come against us. So that mindset was still existing today and back then in the late 80s, early 90s. Peter Bilson was the health commissioner working with John Hopkins and others, and they brought in Norplant into the public school clinics, man. And the girls could go to school without telling their parents, 13 and 14 and 15 years old, and they were putting the Norplant implants in their arm, causing all kind of side effects to these girls, man. Now, they were getting people who was paying to put them in, but they wouldn't pay to have them taken out. And we fought against that. We were down at city council hearing, turned it out completely. And they said that would never happen again. You know what I mean? In terms of the Nation of Islam came down there. That went around the world. Where people were saying, y'all were fighting against Norplant. We said, you damn right. And Minister Jamil said, anytime they're doing anything to harm our people, he said, I'm deputizing you. It's your duty to bring the information back to me. And that's how I began being his understudy inside the Nation of Islam, bringing him the information. And everywhere he went to debate, I was with him when he debated Mark Steiner. I was there when he debated on Channel 2, The Bottom Line, on Kwesi Mfume show, on To The Point, Horace Holmes show. Then the white guy after Horace Holmes left, Keith, not Keith Mills, it was another Keith that came on after that. So I was there with him and grew up under him, watching how he dealt with public debate. I remember one time Steiner asked him, he said, let me ask you, Minister Jamil, you know, Mark Steiner with his arrogant self, right? He said, how many members are in the Nation of Islam? And Minister Jamil, being the brilliant brother he is, right? He said, let me ask you, Mr. Steiner, how much money you got in your pocket? He said, it's none of my business, right? He said, well, it's none of your business how many members are in the Nation of Islam. He said, but as we speak, right? As we speak, our numbers are multiplying right now. So he said, those that say they don't know, and those that know they don't say, because our numbers are growing every day and every minute right now. But he was putting Steiner in check. Now, you go listen to Faraji Muhammad today, he'd have answered the question just like, oh, let me tell you, Mark. In fact, let me call Minister Farrakhan and ask him for you. Well, you're like, what manner of Muslims are these today, brother? I don't know. There's some Asalama fakums, man. They look to be validated by them white folk. Sorry to tell you the truth like that, but that's what they do. Oh, I don't know, Mark. In fact, he won't even call him Mr. Muhammad, right? Mark Steiner just call him Faraji. Come here, Faraji. Let me talk to you. But they groomed him. You know what I mean? Between Phil Leaf and the rest of them, they've been grooming them brothers, man. So I tell people, watch them. That's all. Ain't nothing personal, but just watch them, okay? Because they clearly are strange fruit, not hanging from a tree, but plucked from a tree, man. They strange fruit today, all right? Some of them a little fruity, so you got to watch them, all right? If it don't apply, let it fly, okay? Well, you're supposed to be the fruit of Islam. Some of them a little fruity, man. The ones that have been plucked from the tree and are no longer standing on that foundation today, all right? They be cooning on radio. All right? You got to the point you be asking, are they still Muslims? Are they really Muslims? Talking like that. Okay? With these one subject conversations. Call in. Let me know what you think should happen with Bernie Sanders. Little stupid stuff, man. Conversation be a mile wide and an inch deep. Ain't talking about nothing. Okay? So I want to go nationally quickly, but you can pull up that article. It's at WMAR Channel 2. Talking about the young sister went to school. They put the implant, and she had all kind of side effects, man. So again, you can't go to school and the nurse give your child aspirin, right, or Tylenol without calling you. So how the hell your child can go to school? You got these clinics putting birth controls in your daughters, man. And no, you better know. They're already coming after your sons talking about take the HPV vaccine. You said, wait a minute, when y'all came out with it, y'all was talking about little girls. So now they coming for your children, man. So be mindful. But this is a bolo alert. Be on the lookout. When your children come home, debrief them and ask some questions, man. Especially your young girls, because they're still targeting our girls. It may not be Norplant, it's something similar, to the new implant that they're putting under the little girl's arms right now. And again, under the auspices of contraception. Didn't say they don't have to tell the parent. You're a damn lie. If my child is under the age of consent and they can't sign a consent form to go on a trip, I'll be damned if you're going to put some birth control under their arm, man, without my permission. So you tune to the State of the City. Take this quick drink and then we coming right back to you. So now, I saw this other article. Hogan, right, is offering what, $500,000 for the HBCUs? I'm telling y'all, man, when the dust is settled, they're going to take these HBCUs from black folk. Because y'all got some boule as presidents like David Wilson over at Morgan. I don't know who the boule president is at Coppin. But they tell me that Dr. Powell's trying to become the president at Coppin. I wouldn't put that past him, man. I wouldn't put it past him, right? But Kurt Schmoke wants Coppin, man. So Kurt Schmoke and the University of Baltimore, they want Coppin, they want CCB. That's a lot of land, and that's a lot of student population as well, man. And it's in the opportunity zone. So the governor's only offering $500 million to make right the historic underfunding of the HBCU. So keep your eyes open on that. And your governor is now appointing new board members to the University of Maryland board. Same University of Maryland board where members were getting contracts while they were on the board. Now, the interesting thing is that they're saying that the new law says you can't get a contract if you are on the board. Now, notice, don't say nothing about the family members. So the wife could be on the University of Maryland board, but her husband's not. You want to think that the husband might be getting some contracts? Think the husband ain't getting no contracts? So listen to what they're saying, right? And then listen to what they're not saying. It should say no member on the board or family member of a person who sits on the board should be getting contracts. But that ain't what's there. So Hogan looking out for his own interests here is the reason why. And the judge now said that Billy Murphy will be a witness in attorney Ken Ravenel's case, man. They said they got 39 witnesses, and Billy Murphy is one of 39. So the question is, who's the other 38? You check the mail, your subpoena could be in the mail, man. Your subpoena could be in the mail. All right? But Ravenel's in trouble, man. He's a dead man walking right now, bro. All right? The only question, as I said before, who might be suicided first? Will it be Ravenel or will it be Kathy Pugh? Okay? Who they said in the Baltimore Brew said she sold her house, man. One house she sold for $75,000. I think the house was listed for over $150,000 or more. She sold it for $75,000. Now, I want to get into, if time would permit, man, I got to get into this Trump so-called impeachment because I keep telling you, Trump ain't going nowhere. But I want to go to whatdoesitmean.com to share part of this article with you, this headline here, that you can go online and read because you got to see it for yourself for what is about to go down inside of America. And this may clearly be, as I mentioned on the show the other day, the October surprise. But Trump, right before the UN, now they couldn't get him with so-called Russiagate, so now here they come with Ukrainegate, right? It's about the fourth thing they try to get Trump on, man, right? But Trump obviously holding all the Trump cards, like him or not. But inside of the country, right before the United Nations convened on September the 17th, there was the so-called attack on Saudi Arabia, which they wanted to blame Iran. So they clearly wanted Trump to attack Iran right before all the nations came to the UN so that the neocons, which are Zionist neocons, could get their war, even though Trump got some Jews in his administration. All right? Let's keep it going here, right? So Trump showed constraint, questioned it, didn't attack Iran, but said we'll go with sanctions, right? Now, some say sanctions is another form of war, but he didn't attack Iran, right? Now, the weapons, they said, came from NATO. Weapons weren't no Iranian weapons when they looked at the weapons, but you ain't seen that in the Western media talking about it, all right? So now, Trump goes to the UN. He's there talking to the president of the Ukraine. Then they spin this story, the deep state, talking about Trump called the Ukraine. Now, all of a sudden, our people, right, black folk I'm talking about, have become international experts on Ukraine all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Negroes can't find Ukraine on the map, man. When I say crane, they think I'm talking about something you can ready build something on a building, or they think I'm talking about a bird, man. all of a sudden, Negroes have become experts on international affairs in the Ukraine. Can't name 2 countries next to the Ukraine, man. Can't name the president of Ukraine, the former president of Ukraine, the ambassador to the Ukraine, or anybody else, man. They be talking about you came. You say, you mean you came? You been talking about you came? You talking about that song? Can I get a witness? Anybody know Jesus? You talking about that? So now Trump got a right to talk to a head of state as a head of state. And if there's anything that he wants to question, he didn't say this is I'm using diplomatic channels, I'm using executive privilege. He puts it all out there. So he's asking the president of the Ukraine about Vice President Biden, but not just Biden, but Biden's son, Hunter Biden, that's tied to a company called Burisma or Burisma, B-U-R-S-M-A or S-I-M-A, big energy oil company that paid Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, $50,000 a month. This was in 2014. Then Biden's on, let me see if I can find this YouTube clip. Biden's on tape bragging about how he told the prime minister of Ukraine that they had an investigator who was investigating Joe Biden's son. Joe Biden said, if you don't fire the son of a bitch before I leave the country, your $1 billion you think you getting, you not getting. And Biden said, I got it on my page. Biden was bragging about how before he left, they had fired the prosecutor and put somebody else on investigating it, but the guy was not going to investigate Joe Biden and Joe Biden's son. Now, nobody said, let's charge Joe Biden. No, nobody brought that up. But as long as this comes out now, Joe Biden will eventually have to end his presidential campaign. Now, Wall Street has already leaned in and weighed in and said to the Democratic Party, if y'all get rid of Joe Biden and y'all get Elizabeth Warren, we not putting no money behind Elizabeth Warren. So
you talking about RT?
yeah, you got that? You got the video clip when Joe Biden said, I told him. Yeah, see, we got that clip.
For the White House in 2020 has been fending off allegations of sexual misconduct. That swirl of negative press has taken attention away from another potentially damaging revelation. Ukraine's former top prosecutor, speaking to political website The Hill, accuses Biden of pressuring Kiev into sacking him. Caleb Maupin digs deeper.
Former Vice President Joe Biden is caught up in a bit of a scandal. His name has been floated for the last year or so as a possible Democratic challenger to Donald Trump in the 2020 elections. But now everyone is talking about his habit of getting frisky with both women and girls in public.
He leans down, smells my hair, and then plants this big long kiss on the top of my head.
Joe Biden's presidential campaign hasn't even officially begun, and people are trying to knock him out of the running.
Joe Biden is facing new accusations of inappropriate behavior.
Joe has a habit of doing things right out in the open, and while everyone is focusing on this rather touchy subject, some of his earlier deeds are not getting as much attention. Last year, in an interview, Joe bragged about getting Ukraine's general prosecutor fired. He says he was standing up to corruption.
I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I looked at it, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time.
Well, it just so happens that the general prosecutor was investigating an energy firm in which Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, was heavily invested. Burisma Holdings is an energy corporation in Ukraine, and Hunter Biden, the son of the former vice president, has made a rather handsome profit from it, especially in the aftermath of the 2014 events in Ukraine in which pro-EU forces took power. That prosecutor was looking into 3 different instances of foul play from Hunter's cash cow. However, all it took was a phone call from Papa Joe, and that prosecutor was out.
We had plans that included interrogations and other crime investigation procedures into all members of the executive board, including Hunter Biden.
Members of the board obtain funds as well as another US-based legal entity, Rosemont Seneca Partners, LLC, for consulting services.
One might argue that perhaps Joe Biden had no idea about his son's financial interests. They say he's the vice president. Perhaps he was too busy running the country to pay attention to his son's finances. However, if he watched any American media, he couldn't have missed it.
So we'll end that, but a lot of this is posted on my Facebook page. The other person that's heavily tied to this also is George Soros and Soros NGOs, no good organizations or non-government organizations or non-godly organizations as well. And I'll have to come back next week because I'm going to open up the lines and take some posts when we wrap up. But I'll have to come back and lay all that out. But I'll give you some headlines at whatdoesitmean.com. You can go online and read it. It's the first one. Democratic Party burns the ship. Strategy to destroy Trump forewarns America annihilation. Trump impeachment plot goal is to put Hillary Clinton in power. Warned could end our republic. CIA operatives Volcker and Price masterminding Trump impeachment plot near final doom. The two people are the CIA operatives Volcker and the other one's name is Price. You can pull the article up and read it. I won't have time to get into it tonight, but I can lay it out next week when I come back and show you what they've been doing and how they've been working with Soros, right, as well. Of course, you know Soros has been the one that's funded all of these counter-revolutionary organizations and movements as well. Trump warning of coming civil war prompts Russia and China vow to continue protecting world order. Here's another headline. Military and police backing of President Trump against Congress. Preview begins trial run in Peru because they've been having the same type of things going on in Peru. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie called Our Brand is Crisis with Sandra Bullock. Check out the trailer because the same things they're trying to do now inside of America in Peru is what the movie Our Brand is Crisis is all about. Use a crisis to try to push it another event. And you got people in the street. You're trying to bring pressure from below and pressure from up top. Pressure in the streets and pressure in the suites. And what I've been trying to say in terms of with Trump, they tried the Iran piece, it didn't work. Now they're coming with the Ukraine piece. And at the same time, you got the Zionist-controlled pedophile LGBTQZ group that's angry because Trump has sent his lawyers to fight them at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court next week will be hearing 3 major cases dealing with gay rights and the pedophile amnesty bill, pardon me, where the gays or the pedophiles are now saying that they should be in a protective class as blacks were, and we should be in a protective class following the 1964 Civil Rights Act. So now what the new immigrants are saying, what the gays are saying, and what police officers are saying through their unions, that these 3 groups now want to be in a protective class and blacks will not be in a protective class. The Native Americans are in a protective class. Blacks are not in a protective class, but should be in a protective class, right? If we had real black leadership, this is what would be happening right now. But check and pull up the articles about the Supreme Court. Getting ready here, 3 major gay right cases, man. Okay? I won't get into it tonight, but probably next week when I come back, because the 2nd, the Supreme Court will hear them beginning the 8th, or beginning on Monday, the arguments. And most of the people who have written amicus briefs in support of the gay rights cases, the majority Jewish organizations, the ADL and some others, man. The same ones that supported same-sex marriage and went to court and basically was representing the clients in the Supreme Court. They're the same ones that's, again, back there representing these 3 major cases that deal with gay rights. You got a man who was a man and worked at a funeral home and then said he was coming back and he was no longer going to be a man but now be a woman. He gets fired, but not for that. But they said, they taking that before the Supreme Court. Then you got a man who was a skydiver who told the woman told him he touched her too closely, right? He said, well, you ain't got to worry about that. I'm gay. So then he gets fired, but then he sues. The man has died, but yet the family is still suing, saying the man was fired because he was gay. Then there's another case. I can't think of what the third case is. There's another case. So these cases are coming before the Supreme Court. And at the same time, Nancy Pelosi, the most dangerous woman in America, not in the world, hosted, what's the gay guy that's the host of the show, Queer Eyes for Straight Guys? He was on Capitol Hill walking in the skirt across the American Seal the other day with Nancy Pelosi, man. Pelosi is telling them that they're gonna pass this gay equality bill. The Congress has passed it. The Republican-controlled Senate and President Trump is saying they're not gonna pass it. So they're trying to bring pressure on Trump in the Senate. So they'll use this so-called saying they're gonna impeach Trump, not on any grounds, based on the Constitution, but they want to use it to try to see if they can use leverage and pressure to get them to sign on this equity bill, this so-called pedophile amnesty bill. That's what the fight is really all about. But most people don't know because your black media, most of them are gay. Your Tom Jones, the Ricky Smiley, your Steve Harvey, your D.L. Hughley. They damn sure ain't going to tell you this kind of information, man. Carl Nelson ain't going to tell you this kind of information. Those of you that be listening to Carl Nelson, sorry, you ain't getting that, man. So they not telling you that this is the fight that's going on. If you ain't listening to Dr. Short or Irritated Genie, Straight Black Pride, you ain't getting this kind of information. From a Phil Valentine, you ain't getting it from other sources, man. That's just about, even the Nation of Islam. I come out of the Nation of Islam. Wesley Muhammad does a half-decent job talking about the effemination of black men, but the final call ain't writing about really the final showdown that's going on right now inside of America and what's going on in terms of this October surprise that's coming. They're not writing about that. They talking about the effeminization. This is bigger than the effeminization right here and what's going on, man. This is the total desecration of what's happening right now. And nobody wants to say that this is what's happening, man. So they coming after the real patriots inside of the country and the real patriots that's teaching the people, man. Not patriotism based on a flag, but based on your principles and your morals. Then they coming after you. Those who are, again, your religion, they come after your right to even have free speech. All that's in the bill, man. With what I'm doing right now, they would shut the radio station down. Say they don't want no real discussion about it. And this is what's happening. And so this is why I warned you, and Brother Genie, when the Nation of Islam let Black Lives Matter be a part of that Million Man March, and the girl Melina Abdullah. Now here's a girl with a Muslim name, Melina Abdullah, who's a feminist, who's gay, who said that their whole purpose was to queer out the black community. She didn't say clear out. She said they're going to queer out the black community. Meaning if you ain't with that agenda, then they going to queer you out, man. It's what they say. What's that Beyonce say? What they say? Bow down, bitch. They want you to bow down, bitch. That's what they saying. Bow down. They saying we slave. You know what I mean? We slaying. We coming for you. We slaying. Meaning bow down to our agenda, man. And most black leaders inside of this country have bowed down. Most black organizations have bowed down, man. Black churches done bowed down. Black Muslim organizations have bowed down, man. They ain't speaking up about this. They ain't saying, you know what I mean? Whoa. They ain't saying none of that. And most of them don't even know what's happening, man. That's the sad part. Because they just getting a hard on, a shot of Viagra and extends of Cialis talking about Donald Trump all day, man. That's all they talking about. They ain't talking about what's really coming down the pike, man. With these bills and these cases before the Supreme Court. That's why this kind of show is so important. That I can come here and speak truthfully to you without any, of course, censorship, right? And without any limitations. So we're going to come to the lines before we begin to wrap up. 404-436-1277 if you want to get in. Also, send a message on Facebook as well. Of course, it's hard for me to stop and read while I'm online or while I'm giving up the information. But you can go to whatdoesitmean.com. Lastly, article is Trump officially warns coup underway after socialist threatens revolution to destroy America. These people want to destroy the country from the inside out. If they can't get what they want to destroy it. That's what their plans are, man. And that's what you're looking at. They destroyed the Democratic Party. I heard them say Bernie Sanders in the hospital now. They might have told Sanders they're gonna pop him if he don't get out the race, man. So this is they are basically not insinuating. What's the word? It escapes me right now. It's like they want to burn the house down if they can't have the house, man. From the inside out is what you're looking at right now. It's not gonna happen because before that happens, then Trump, well, they're gonna be on sabotage. You know what I mean? This is straight out of Saul Alinsky. That whole socialist doctrine is what they running. I have to come back and lay all that out. That whole communist manifesto is what they trying to push on the American people, black, brown, red, yellow, and white. So with that, we'll come to the line. If you got a thought, question, comment, 404-436-1277. No, I gave you a lot, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, man. So if you got a thought, comment, Facebook, Dan Muhammad, of course, or Radio on Fire, comment there on their YouTube channel, Facebook page. With that, we'll come to the line. If you got a thought, 404-436-1277. We don't have no calls. We'll go to the Facebook post, my brother.
All right, so somebody says that did the ancestor of Cab Calloway have a historic home in New York at one time?
I don't know. We'd have to look into that, and I had to reach out to his grandson, Peter Brooks, and, of course, to his sister, which would be, of course, Cam Murphy. But good question. I'm sure he probably did. And if you don't know about Cab Calloway, Google him. You know what I mean? Great artist and a national treasure coming out of Baltimore.
Facts.
So,
yeah,
you know?
definitely.
Yes. So good. But it's shame on those that would try to destroy his home and destroy his legacy and say they're going to put up a damn park. You know what I mean? Larry Young needs to stay out in parks. You know what I mean? And give new meaning to doing it in the dark and doing it in the park. He needs to stay his fat, greasy ass out in park, knowing the history of him faking that he got kidnapped and tied up in the park. All that was in the book, Homicide: Life on the Corner, in which the detective Foultech said they wanted to charge Larry Young for writing a false police report. But because Larry Young and the rest of them brokebacks, they told Paris Glendenning and Kirk Smoke if they supported Kirk Smoke and the Minister Alliance, which most of them was gay, and Larry Young was working with them gay ministers, right? So they told Kirk Smoke, if we support you and support Paris Glendenning for governor, when Glendenning became the governor, y'all gotta support one of ours to become the police commissioner. And there was Ed Woods, who was gay, and then Eddie Woods helped Larry Young and them cover up their murders. All this is in the book, man. When they said Larry Young was the last one with Reverend Marvin Moore, a gay minister who was found dead in his apartment, they said Larry Young, ugly black, what was them cars called? 600K, not a Valiant, I think it was a Valiant, one of them. They said Larry Young car was outside, man. Larry Young was the last one with the man. And they had Larry Young by the balls. But it was Commissioner Woods and the other gays that was running the courthouse that made them files disappear to help Larry Young get away with murder. Now, that's in the book, Homicide: Life on the Corner. He know I know, and I'm bold enough to get on radio and tell the people, ain't no shame in my game and ain't no fear here. So, with that, let's go to the next question. Well, he need to stay out of the damn park. He owed that boy money, faked that he got kidnapped, and tied himself up to a tree in Drill Park, which was the park where all the gay guys go. They had a little lane over there. I forget the name of it. But they would tell people how they picking up gay dudes out there in Drill Park. So they would say, they give new meaning to doing it in the dark and doing it in the park. You know what I mean? Rock Cray Park. Y'all know the song. But come on, my brother. Next question.
Also, greetings from New Jersey.
Greetings, Jersey. Man, we feel for you up there in Jersey. Y'all got the whole issue with the lead in the water like we do in Baltimore. So we may have to get together and do a program talking about that. And multi-class action lawsuit as well for the victims of lead poisoning of the water system with those in Jersey. But any questions?
Also, someone says that Billy Murphy and them boys in some trouble.
Yeah, they definitely in some trouble, man. So, as I said before, Ravenel in deep doo-doo, man. So we'll see if he gets out of this one alive, for sure. So, feds don't raid your office and you a lawyer unless they got some real goods on you, man. That's the bottom line on that one. So, I agree. We'll wait and see, man. But as the old folks used to say, whatever don't come out in the wash, it's sure enough gonna come out in the rinse. So let's continue, my brother.
That's true. That's true. Someone else says that you should do a show about the secret society Boule one day.
Yeah, we'll have to do a show about secret society. Since our brother Steve Coakley, very few brothers and sisters have stepped up to do just that. We've had brothers like Brother Marcus Klein, Griff. I don't think Griff do no shows like that no more, man. Professor Griff, that's my brother, but I don't think Griff do no shows like that no more. So I think if it's going to be left up to myself. Of course, my brother David Johnson, Brother Donald Smith, Brother David Anthony Wiggins here, the 4Ds locally, then a brother like Brother Marcus Klein. And there are few that are still out there nationally that would do shows and bring that info and even go down to the Boule Foundation there on Peachtree Street
in Atlanta?
Yeah, that's where the
Peachtree
foundation is. Yeah, you can get all the books and everything. But you can go to the library as well, get the information. So we have to give a updated list of Boule members in these cities around the country, which I think has to happen, which we got to do. So good question. Next question.
Somebody else said you are off the chain.
I'm not off the chain. I'm just giving you that truth with the proof up in the booth. That's all. And if we can't do it here, where can we do it? That's all. But that's what black radio is supposed to do. Excite you, invite you, ignite you, man. That's what we're supposed to do. Give you information that you're not going to get anyplace else. You know, when you hear this kind of information, you might have heard some of it from the elders, but they ain't never told it like I'm telling you today. So thank you very much, though. We're gonna stay off the chain. You know what I mean? We're gonna be like Django Unchained. You know what I mean? So next question, thought, comment out there.
Someone else said, how can Amber Geiger only get 10 years for killing that black man?
Easy. In the words of Paul Mooney, she got the right complexion connection. If we play this straight. But there's still some things about that case that just don't add up, man.
Does not add up.
It don't add up in the you see, I know a good psyops when I see one, man. And the family come out saying, we forgive you. They want to have a big kumbaya. So you like, some things about this case just don't add up, man. So stay tuned. She may not even serve a day in jail. We have to wait and see, man. The family might say they don't want to go to jail, like they said yesterday. So they might say, we forgive you, all is forgiven. Anybody seen the body? I like to see where the body is, man. I like to see where I'm just being honest.
You mean like where he's buried?
Where he's buried? Because some of what they showing just don't add up, bottom line. So when I saw it, I said it was another race war psyops, man. That's all. But if she ain't got 10 years, that's because she got the right complexion connection. That's all.
And it's not with the feds, so she don't have to necessarily do 10 years. She can do less than that.
I do 2 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Somebody else said
one of his brothers might end up marrying her, man. That's kind of
one of his
brothers might marry him.
No,
bro.
No,
okay, keep your eyes
terrible.
open, man. Keep your eyes open, bro. Keep your all of them like a nice script, man. All right. Next question.
You didn't say anything about the loose bull.
What loose bull?
It was a loose bull in West Baltimore.
That's like every 6 months they got a loose bull running from what's that slaughterhouse up there? Ruppers, what's it called? Ruppersburger?
Yeah.
It's like every 6 months one get loose, right?
Yeah.
Running down Pennsylvania Avenue. But they know how to cower in, right? And corral the bull without killing him, right? Right? He get ready to go get killed though when they taking him, right?
Isn't that strange?
Yeah. But yeah, black man get loose, right? They can't wait to shoot the brother, right? they got a 2-ton bull running down Pennsylvania Avenue, right? But to show you what they can do when they want to do it. No, they don't taser the bull or nothing, huh? So, but yeah,
they're not in fear for their life.
Yeah.
As strange as that is.
And he got horns, right?
Right.
But he get ready to go get killed.
And don't speak English either.
Yeah, and the bull don't speak no English. So unless you see when our turn comes, the whole script changes. Next question.
Jack Young is going to be our next mayor.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say he's the mayor. He's probably the manager right now. But the big boys are obviously putting their money on him. And as I said before, if he's got Martin O'Malley's treasurer or bag man, Martin Cadigan, you can pull up that article, Baltimore Brew, man. So again, it lets you see he gonna owe a lot of people if he become the mayor. So that's the bottom line, and he will. He
already do owe.
Well, he owe a lot of people, so he become Jack in the box for the most part. You know what I mean? He owes a lot of people. He Jack in the box, and you know what they say? Jack says yes. You know what I mean? Like Jack says yes, and he's saying yes to you when it comes to black folk, right? Unless you connected politically to him, but he's saying that to the masses of black people in the city of Baltimore. That's the sad part. But again, I think we got to put some pressure on him, man. That's what's not happening. Is putting pressure where pressure needs to be placed inside of this city. So it's going to take an army of men and women and young people. Look at what the squeegee boys are doing with just being out there consistently every day. I got to let y'all in, man. After the Ravens lost the other night on Sunday night, man, the streets was clear. Wasn't even no homeless people on the street. Wasn't nobody out there.
Sad.
Only ones. Hey, bro.
Sad game.
Only ones was out there was the squeegee boys, man. You know what I mean? Wasn't nobody out there. Dope boys wasn't out there. Trannies wasn't out there. Prostitutes wasn't out there. I mean, wasn't nobody on the streets, man. It was like a ghost town. I was like, damn, I had to just drive down 83 on President Street. And, of course, the old faithful squeegee brothers was out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is them being out there has made the city galvanize the heads of major white philanthropic corporations to say, what are we going to do about the squeegee boys, right? Just with putting pressure on them, man. So we can do the same thing. I may have to go get me a squeegee and get out there, man. Just to put some pressure on this no good ass man. Squeegee right in front of City Hall. You know what I mean? The squeegee boys and the dirt bike boys put more pressure on them than the civil rights organizations, man. And they just doing what they doing to get their money right then and there, man. That's all. So again, that's how they get their money right then and there, right? You don't need no middleman. Talking about we gonna have a program for the squeegees. No, they got the best program they need here and now. You know what I mean? They ain't waiting for you. There's some way that you can help them if you really want to help them. But if they want to stay out there and they ain't breaking no law, let them wipe some windows. Let them pass out some waters while I'm out there. Let them give away some brochures about upcoming events in the city of Baltimore. You can find a way to incorporate them into the ether of the city of Baltimore, man, if they want to be out there. But then you don't see all them whites out there hung out, strung out with their tongue all out in the middle of traffic. They used to be out there with signs. They just come up to the car now with a goddamn cup. You see them?
Yeah.
They don't say nothing about that, do they? So unless you see, because the squeegee boys are black, they got a problem. But if you put some little white boys out there, you know what I mean, with some Boy Scout uniforms or something on, I bet you they wouldn't have a problem with that.
No, they would love that.
Right. So
and they would give them money.
Oh, absolutely. They probably get $20 a pop. How you doing, bud? How you doing, dude? How you doing, Luke? You know what I mean? Hey, look out for him. You look like my son, you know?
Maybe the squeegee boys need to do that. Put on some Boy Scout outfits.
Yeah, you put them in a Boy Scout outfit. Nah, they got a problem with this quick kink and everything else up there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They spot that amount in their complexion right quick, man. It don't apply, let it fly. And then some of them just don't like to be held up in traffic. I used to be out there selling final calls and bean pies. I was dressed to the nine. You know what I mean?
Right.
It cursed me out. Get that damn paper out my face, holding up traffic while I'm trying to get through here. You know what I mean? And we was casket clean out there, the FOI, and you curse us out. You know what I mean? We was clean, pristine, and on the scene. You like, get that damn paper out my face. I don't even want that bean pie, right? Like, so some people, when the light change, they go 0 to 100 if you make them wait 30 seconds, man. You know what I mean? And they the nice people out there, you know? If they ain't mad with the squeegee boys, they mad with their boss, or they mad with somebody else, and they take it out on the squeegees. You know what I mean? That's usually what happens, you know? So we'll take a few more, and then we got to begin to wrap up because it's 9 o'clock. All right, got any more comments?
Yeah. Will there be a civil war in America?
Well, I can't say it's going to be a civil war because I think as this thing goes on, then again, they force Trump's hand. He may use Executive Order 13603, continuation of government, shut this baby down, man, and the roundup beginning. It's already begun in some parts of the country. Then the roundup, I ain't talking about Monsanto's roundup that they've been spraying out there in Baltimore County, but the real roundup will begin, man. So keep your eyes open. I would not like to see that day coming, but again, those forces that are bent on trying to destroy the country from within, they may force that to come to a certain point where that would happen in certain segments inside of America. But we'll see as this will play itself out. But Trump been using all his Trump cards, man. So again, I'd say sit back, watch, but at the same time, stock up on your food, stock up on your water, put you some things away so that if things do move to that point and things are locked down for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, then, you know, you watch those shows called Preppers, you didn't already prep and you didn't sleep, you know what I mean, in terms of knowing what's going on or potentially could go on inside of the country right now.
Yes.
So, good question. Next question, thought, comment?
Okay. Don't forget Farrakhan praising Tyler Perry. Okay.
Yeah, he did. But now I'm going to let you know what Dick Gregory told me before he died. He told me Tyler Perry was lovers with what's his name? Called himself the hardest working man, the fly job, Tom Joyner. But Tom Joyner also is controlled by the white boy, the Jewish boy, David Cantor. David Cantor sits on the board.
The media person?
Yeah. That David Cantor told Tom Joyner, we shutting you down. You know, this is his last show. Is it this month? He's on a tour, limited tour right now. I think this is his last month on the air.
But they've been saying that for a while. Remember,
his numbers were down. So they replaced him.
Because people thought he was, because when Obama was leaving, they were saying he was leaving in.
All that stock went down when Obama left. You know what I mean? What's that song say? One less Bella answer. You know what I mean? Yeah. Al Sharp did. They didn't know what they was going to do. They can't go work for Trump. Trump don't want them. You know what I mean? So all that stock went down when Obama left. The sad part, when Obama ran, he didn't even spend no money with black media to advertise he was running. You know what I mean? I ain't got to spend no money with y'all. I just call in. Y'all. Next comment. You know what I mean? As I always say, they co-op you, and when they finish with you, they co-drop you. But everybody know Tom Joyner and Tyler Perry is a thing. And Tom Joyner and David Cantor. If you don't believe me, pull up the article about David Cantor. Cantor runs Radio 1, right? You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cantor runs that, man. That's Tom Joyner's boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he sits on Tom Joyner group is called Reach Media, right?
Right.
Tom Joyner controls gay. What's the guy? What's the guy from Alabama? Ricky Smiley.
Yeah.
He control Ricky Smiley. He control what's the other one that they got that's replacing Tom Joyner now? Was it Russ Parr?
Yeah.
Tom Joyner own all that, man. But that's Reach Media, which means David Cantor and the Zionist Jews control them. That's all. You know,
that's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
When can you and Jack Young sit down and have a one-on-one conversation?
I tried to have a one-on-one conversation with Jack Young when Jack Young asked me to come to his office, right? And I asked him about why he was living up in Edgewood, Maryland. He said he had a summer home in Edgewood. Last I checked, ain't no beachfront properties in Edgewood, Maryland. You know what I mean? So he wasn't man enough to tell me what white folk wasn't living in that district. My man, brother Kevin, shout out to him, who's been ill. But Kevin was with me when I went to Jack Young's office, man. So Jack, why would I sit down with Jack Young, man? When you just heard the brother that was here, Brian Hawkins, say, Jack Young could tell Larry Young and them, sit down with this group, the Better Baltimore, that wants to build the home of Calloway. Jack Young got to show some good faith efforts to our people, man. And I don't want to go sit down with him for me.
That would be
sit
good.
down this for we, in terms of what we going to do inside this city, man.
But
that's what has to happen. I don't want to sit down just to say I sat down with him.
But the mayor could benefit from somebody speaking to him aggressively and from a good place like you, instead of the yes men and women that's around him. I think that a lot of stuff, he's in his own little bubble, and information is sectioned off, and he don't get it.
Guess what? One of the guys I coined Councilman for Life, Carl Stokes, who I talked to. Carl talked to Jack Young. You know what I mean? That was his friend, right? Carl was the one that brought up about auditing all the city departments. Not Brandon Scott, not Costello, not none of them. It was Carl Stokes, man. And of course, Carl paid the price for that. Now,
Big
Carl
price.
is vindicated because everybody last week is talking about the audits of the city agencies, right? But yet, they didn't want Carl to be elevated to become the mayor because he was saying we want transparency. Only crooks don't want you to
real transparency.
Only crooks don't want you to see the books, right? Because then they on the hook, it might be on a straight trail to jail with no goddamn bail, right? So the crooks, Brandon Scott was fighting Carl every step of the way, putting all the amendments in the way, because Brandon Scott was working for Martin O'Malley and the boys that's been down there still siphoning off, right, money out of Baltimore City. That's why they didn't want Carl having the wherewithal to talk about an audit and then go forward with audits, man, you know? And Baltimore would be different if, again, Ken Harris was living. Carl Stokes would have became the mayor, man. We wouldn't see a lot of what we see that's going on right now. So that's just the truth.
But why did that happen?
The people didn't know. Again, black media. Outside of my show, Carl couldn't get no even kill or feel on those shows to get his information out there. You know what I mean? And then the big money, Carl had to get money outside of the city from blacks like my man Brian Hawkins, who's connected to brothers like Charles Bond and others. That's where his money's gonna come from. It ain't coming from the blacks that's here because they controlled by the syndicates that have been controlling Baltimore. They like a cloud that's been over the city, man. And you gotta be able to break it in order to get in. You know what I mean? And that's what's gonna have to happen. Mr. Willie Adams was able to break it, but Mr. Willie Adams had to go out and get blacks from around the country to help him in Baltimore, man. That's how he was able to succeed inside of Baltimore. So, next one or two more, then we gotta wrap up, I think.
Somebody else said, why did Jamal Bryant leave his black ass out of Baltimore?
Probably had more baby drama mama coming out on him. You know what I mean? As always, the criminals got to get away, man. So he had more stuff that was coming down the pike, and he wanted to get away. But he also always said, and I remember Dr. Powers told me that Jamal Bryant always said he wanted to be a reality TV star, man. So remember he was on Donald Trump's Apprentice. Then he was on the other show, Ultimate Merger, with Omarosa, right? As her spiritual advisor,
He did
right?
a couple of shows, yeah.
Then he was on the Housewives of Atlanta, right?
And then they were pitching some other
now he
shows
wants to be
past
on
this,
Housewives. And I don't know if he's going to wear the skirt or the dress down there in Atlanta this time around. You know what I mean?
Ain't it the same thing?
He did go to Morehouse, where they was known for wearing dresses and skirts down there, man.
Allegedly.
Right? No, that was real.
That was real?
Yeah, the president had to send down a decree that the guys at Morehouse had to stop wearing skirts, man. And they was mad with him. You know what I mean? Talking about that we got a male purse. You know what I mean? So, no, brother, those are part of the secret society ritual that they was bringing. See, the older guys was doing it in covertly.
Right.
The young guys is doing it overtly now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the kind of things that was going on, man. So, again, we'll see what in terms of what, but then he went down to take over, what's his name? Eddie Long's church, right?
Right. He went down there for money.
Eddie Thong, what Eddie had going on, right? Eddie Thong, you know what I mean? And Eddie was wrong, you know what I mean?
That's what they say.
Right.
That's what they say.
So, but he left his daddy's AME church to become, I think that's a Baptist church, right? Yeah. So that's just interesting, man. That whole thing happened, but we'll see what comes out. You know what I mean? Then he had Kanye now doing these pop-up sermons with him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now Kanye was always tied to either the Church of Scientology or the Church of Satan. Definitely them Kardashians.
I think the first one. I think the first one.
And of course Kanye, after he did Jesus Walk, and he supposedly did the remix for Lucifer, Son of the Morning. Now there was a song that Bob Marley did years ago, but then he rewrote that version for Jay-Z, which was kind of the epitome to Jesus Walks. That's usually how they'll do it. You know what I mean? When you selling souls like that. And he said famously, you could pull up the clip, I couldn't wait for Jesus, so I sold my soul to the devil. Now that's on the clip. You can see Kanye talking about that on stage. So he clearly has been under some serious MK Ultra style mind control for years, So I won't get into a lot of that tonight, but I'll have to come back on another night and really get into that part.
Yeah, that's crazy. Thank you, brother, for keeping us informed. I have a $100 donation for you and Radio on Fire, respectively.
Thank you. Send that donation. $SOTC Muhammad. If you send it to Radio on Fire, you send it to Radio on Fire, then I guess I won't have to pay tonight. I don't know. We'll see. but I appreciate that, brother or sister, for giving your $100 donation to support real, relevant, independent black radio. I'll say radio, but black radio. So take one or two more, and then we got to begin to wrap up. Got one more?
Two quick ones, I guess. Jack is in too deep.
I mean, I'll keep going if you want to keep going. It's all up to you.
Jack is in too deep. It says he has to continue saying yes.
Yes. Jack's in over his head, man. And don't take much to get in over his head, short as he is. You know what I mean? so he's in over that bald head, man.
Pharrell Williams did produce the Lucifer song with him.
Pharrell Williams?
Yep.
Well, you know his history. Pharrell Williams, he definitely MK Ultra, right?
Yeah. They are all working together under the Patriot Act, trying to get new bills signed.
The Patriot Act?
Yep.
Well, I don't know about Patriot Act. We'll see. That might be the new Patriot Act. I ain't the
old. The new, not the old one, right?
Probably got a Patriot Act 3 about to come online. We will see.
Okay, the focus is on extortion, discredit, slander, trying to rob and steal any man with influence in this city.
Say that again?
They are working. Hold on. No, wrong one. The focus is on extortion, discrediting, slander, and robbing and stealing any man with influence in this city.
I agree. Yeah, that's very true. That's what they will do.
Yeah? Expand on that.
Well, one thing you see, it's rare to find a man or woman of principle, right? So when you find a man or woman of principle in this day and time, then you want to try to extort them, right? So you could take them off of their foundation, right? So we always say first you deny, then you destroy, then you discredit the person. So that's usually what they have to do, right? When you find somebody like that. Most of the people that they want in politics are not people like myself and yourself. They want people who have already compromised. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just as they were talking about what Jeffrey Epstein was doing in terms of getting pictures of politicians and others, right, with children or women, they use that to hold over their head, right? So that once they get them in a position, then they know that they're already compromised. So they're not going to go outside of what they're being instructed to do because they don't want that information to ever be exposed. So that's essentially what they're saying. And this city is what they'll do to a person that has principles. They got to corrupt your principles, corrupt your morals, right? And then if you don't go along with the script, they'll bring you out publicly and shame you because that's what the person don't want to be publicly is to be shamed, right? Right. So that's the same script every time that they use. That's how they keep control over people like Kurt Smoker now. as I said before. They boulets, but whatever they were doing in them secret societies and secret lodges and hotels, they videotaped that. When I talk about the Lancers Club, when this guy Hammerman and the kind of stuff he was doing, you know they videotaped. They probably got it in black and white. They probably got pictures of him, you know?
Probably.
So that's how they use as control. And the younger you can, the Jesuits say get them when they're young. You know what I mean? You ever see the movie where the guy was wearing the dog collar on what was his name? Jet Li? The guy had the collar on him and he take the collar off and he started fighting. What was it called? Unleashed or something?
Yeah,
right?
I don't remember the name of it. I remember what
you
you're talking
remember
about.
the movie though, right?
Absolutely.
But go back and watch the movie because when the guy with the accent that played the handler of Jet Li, right? When he went to meet with the British guy, he knocked on the British guy's door and he had the collar on Jet Li and the British guy said, "How do you do that, right?"
Right.
And he said, "Well, you know, I get them while they're young." And he said, "Well, yeah, that's what the Jesuits said. Get them while they're young and train them while they're young." You know what I mean? That's what old Jesuit was saying. I forget the rest of the part of it, but that's what they believe in doing. You know what I mean? So you break them when they're young and you mold them when they're young, you can control them for the rest of their lives. So that's what they essentially were saying. That's all. So any more questions?
Two more. Do you cover any updates on the American descendants of slavery? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't. Now I'm just gonna be honest. When is this ADOS movement for the most part, I haven't really spent a lot of time looking at them. I'm just being honest. When they say American descendants, you know, I don't know about being an American descendant, but you're an African for sure. As Malcolm X said, you take a German Shepherd and bring him out of Germany, he's still gonna be a German Shepherd, right? He might be in America, but he's still gonna be a German Shepherd, right? Right. Now you can take a German Shepherd that's pregnant and put that German Shepherd in an oven. That German Shepherd's still gonna have baby German Shepherds, not biscuit shepherds, right?
Yeah.
So because you take an African out of Africa, they still gonna be Africans.
But you got some people that because they can go back 2 or 3 generations, they just automatically say
they want to just disconnect.
Yeah, they just disconnect.
They want to cut Africa off.
Right.
They can't go back 3 or 4 generations.
Right.
You can go back. The question is whether you choose to go back.
Absolutely.
That's all. And
100%.
don't think going back to Henry Louis Gates is going back to your history. You know what I mean? Please don't. Please don't. All right.
Last question. Why do you call Pharrell MK Ultra?
Easily. If you don't know, just Google what is MK Ultra. Then look up Pharrell. Look up Pharrell's history, okay? In terms of him, he called himself part of what, the Billionaires Boys Club?
Yes.
Yeah, but that's a British term. You better know who the British were and how the British use MK Ultra through the Tavistock Institute in terms of mind control. So go and look up Pharrell, then Google Pharrell Williams and MK Ultra. They got him while he was young. That's all.
Yeah, and so for the listeners, MK Ultra is a CIA program of mind control experiments.
Disney is MK Ultra. You know what I mean? Jonas Boys is MK Ultra. Miley Cyrus is MK Ultra.
It's a real thing.
Yeah. So just that's all. When you said, because some of our people I know they don't know, and then some of them they with the celebrities. You know what I mean? This whole celebrityization or weaponized celebrities. Then that's what they think. I bumped into him one day. I was with my daughters, right?
Pharrell.
Coming from the science center. I was with my 2 younger daughters and my 2 older daughters. I think they were teenagers, and we was coming from the science center, and my 2 youngest daughters, they didn't know who he was, you know what I mean? And he was getting off a bus. I think he was in town for like a concert or something. So my 2 older daughters knew who he was. Ebony, she started like crying when he shook her hand and hugged her, right?
Did she?
I said, what is wrong with you? He man and flesh and blood just like I am and you know?
Yeah.
He shook my hand, I shook his hand, you know what I mean? He said he was in town to do a concert and then asked them were they coming to the concert, right? And they said they wasn't, which they wasn't coming, right? He said he was going to leave a pair of tickets if they wanted to come, right? And so their mom took them that night, like to the concert. But this was probably about at least eight years ago that, when I met him. But it was nothing, it's nothing there. You know what I mean? Like as a man, I shake a hand, I'm feeling, where's the spirit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just empty to me for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was it.
I met him once in Mondawmin when I was running a record store over there.
Right.
He was there with Chad, whatever, the other guy that he partners with, promoting a record. He seemed just disconnected to me. Kind of.
So that's usually what happens with him. See, the body is there, but they absent the spirit for the most part. You know what I mean? That's just us. We can feel that as men, And those of us that's awakened, we can feel that spirit. It ain't flesh and blood can't reveal it to you. but the spirit can definitely reveal it to you, okay? And it just wasn't there. That's all.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't say that to my daughters because they wanted to go to the concert. They're not on the level that I'm on. So, as Bobby D. Gregory always told me, once you put their magic glasses on, you can never ever take them off. But he said you cannot force other people to see what you see. So if they're not there, I can't force them to see what I can see. I can drop a seed on them. I can give them a little information, but they're not ready for that. So I have to wait until they were able to get to that point in their life. And that's with anybody. So it's a journey that can be very painful for a few because you walk on that journey sometimes by yourself, or you have to wait until you meet those that are on the same vibratory frequency level as you are, and they clearly understand what it is you're saying without sometimes even saying it. Okay? So with that, we're going to begin to wrap up the show. So I thank all of you that tuned in. Let me thank Brian Hawkins, who came on, Better Baltimore, working to make Baltimore better, of course, with Brother Charles Martin. But I thank all of you that tuned in. We'll be back on next Wednesday at 7 p.m. We do need your support, so please make your checks, money orders, or your Cash App. Send it to $SOTC Muhammad, MUHAMMAD. Also, Radio on Fire, Cash App, all one word, Radio on Fire. And we'll be back on Saturday on the State of the City, 12 noon on WFBR 1590. And you can listen on Spreaker as well as on TuneIn. So I thank all of you that tuned in. Please send in your support because we definitely would like to look at adding another day, but it can only be possible if you support the show. So, again, don't be spending your money up at Tiffany's East with Jack Young and Kevin Parson. Put your money on independent, real, relevant, independent media. And so I thank all of you that tuned in. We'll podcast the show on Radio on Fire YouTube channel and Radio on Fire Facebook page. Also, it'll be podcast on Darren Muhammad State of the City Facebook page. So until next Wednesday at 7, God bless. Let's continue to clean up all this mess. Peace. Thank all of you that tuned in on Facebook. We're going to log off, but we will podcast the show on our Facebook page. Thank all of you for tuning in. And thank you again to the owners of Radio on Fire, Brother D. Williams, for giving us the opportunity to come before you tonight. God bless.